She's a Jersey girl with the big hair and bright smile, rocking neon spandex. She's got that 80s style. She's got a groove that's so rad, she'll make you wanna dance. Shelly's the queen of the Jersey Shore, you get the chance. Hey Shelly, Shelly dancing in the moonlight. Hey Shelly, Shelly shining oh so bright, so bright. We're gonna party till the morning light. Oh, Shelly, Shelly, Jersey girl, delight.
But the Shelly in the house tonight, giving it up, feeling so right. New Jersey girl, she's got that style. That style. Now scream queen with a million smiles. Catching all the love from around the world. Whoa. Hey Shelly, won't you shine your light in the darkest times to make it bright, bright. Livestream dreams, we're all by your side, by your side. You're doing what you do, girl. You're one of a kind, one of a kind. Shelly, Shelly, you're our live stream star, star. Keep rocking your show, no matter where you are.
Hey, Shelly from the block. Jersey girl with a mouth that won't stop, no, no. Sassy, and I'm not afraid to show it. Gonna spill the tea, you better be ready for it. I speak my mind, no filter inside. Shelly's in the house, talking trash and truth, no sugar-coated grooves. Melody, then get out the way. Jersey girl with something to lose. Shelly's in the house, time to break the rules. From halls to the city, I'm the queen of cool. You can handle the heat, then take the high. Shelly's in the house, drop the mic.
Hey, Shelly in the house tonight, living it up, feeling so right. Yeah. New Jersey girl, she's got that style. Live stream queen with a million smiles, and she know the love from around the world. Hey Shelly, won't you shine your light? Time to make it right. Live stream queens with a wayside. You're one of a kind. Shelly, Shelly, you're a live stream star. Keep rocking the show no matter where you are. Yeah.
Hey out there, happy Friday. It is 9:33 a.m. on May 10th, 2024. And this is Shelly, your mouthy mama, talking trash and truths. And you're here for Coffee and Chaos with T3. That's me. And I'm looking up in the chat, and Suzanne was here nice and early. There we go. We got Christine Fortunato. Good morning. Well, good day to you. Not good M, because it's just Good Friday. God, I'm already screwing up. Whatever. Suzanne dropping her link. She said, I hope you're all able to make it over for the afternoon show. Mr. Stark is very much the entertainer and has wonderfully taken on hosting this fundraiser and orchestrating everything on our behalf. That's awesome. That is awesome. If you check out, I pinned it to the chat, and there is also a scroll at the bottom of my screen with the information. If you can, it's 4:00 today, May 10th, on Stark of Iron. And he will be doing a relief stream for Suzanne Eckstein. So if you can, come on over. If not, share it out and just let's get the word out so we get her some support, because, she's been laid up quite a bit lately. And times are hard for everybody, but she's dealing with a lot of health issues. And she's a good egg. She's raising her grandson. She's raising him right. So let's see if we can come out and really give her some support, some help. Now, I will definitely be, hitting that stream at some point. I just don't know when. Because you know me, Suzanne. If I fall asleep, good luck. That's why I'm doing all the promo. Because I can't count on being awake at that time. Anyway, it is Friday. We are bracing ourselves for some unknown weather over here. Don't know yet. We'll take it as it comes. It's fine. As long as I don't lose power, I'm happy. Huge shout out to T3, my sister from another mister, for all her help and support. You rock, Jersey girl. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Christine saying, are we doing our interview tonight at 9 p.m.? I'm guessing she's talking to Suzanne. Although I have gaps in my memory, so if you were talking to me, you're going to have to remind me because I have no clue what that's about. But, you know, good fortune to you. Fortunato. Wolfram dropping links like they're hot. He wipes his paws, lopes in, and howls. Ah, woo. Daisy girl stopping by to dance, have some coffee, do something with a banana and a chili pepper. I'm not entirely sure. A spicy banana? Because, I mean, that's one way to start a Friday. How you doing, Daisy girl? She said, have a blessed and great stream. In other words, hi, I'm here. Love you. Bye. So, she said, be back later, sweeties. I knew it. I knew it. Judge Maddie, you're here bright and early. See, you put music in the title, and Maddie's like, I'll be right there. Because I know if somebody could. Did you throw it? There you go. Judge Maddie, tune in from anywhere. You see his information up there. He does. I've never read this out loud. Let's see. Here we go. Check out The Continuum live Sundays at midnight Central Standard Time, and Maddie's mixtape on Tuesdays at 1 a.m. Central on KDHX with Judge Maddie. Tune in anywhere, and there's a link there. So if you can, that would be awesome. Hey, nerd. There's it. So my neighbor's pack of monster ankle biter dogs nearly attacked me as I was getting out of my car a little while ago. Aw, well, you know, dogs get hungry. Anyway, you see the link there, so make sure you hit that and bookmark it so you can see Maddie. Well, so you can listen to Maddie. I really have to I have to do that. I always get sidetracked. I have this great idea that eats up all my nights, so it keeps me occupied. But I really do. I want to tune in. I'm pissed off that I haven't done it already. I will do my best. Eventually, I will get to it, Maddie. It's nothing personal. It's that I'm a little teethy, so you know. And usually, I'm in the middle of a movie or whatever. But I will get to it. I'm so sorry. Don't hate me. Anyway, today's a weird day for me. I fell asleep literally at midnight, like just a little bit after midnight. Poor Woody, he was like, I can't even hear you. You're talking so soft. Go to bed. I was like, okay. Good night. Because I was in so much pain yesterday. Y'all have no idea. I mean, I was just sitting here, tears just running down my face. And you wouldn't really know it, you know, to look at me or to listen to me, how much pain I was in. But yesterday was bad. It was, like it was probably the worst flare up I've had in a long time because it hit me different. This was an all body flare up, and it felt like I was wearing a super, super tight corset that went from like my hips to above my boobs, like, you know, almost to my shoulders, where I just couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I couldn't do anything. So it was bad. Yesterday was bad. And finally he was like, would you just please just smoke out? Like, let's go. He was like, it's going to relieve your pain. Just do it. I was like, yeah, but then I'm going to fall asleep. He was like, it's fine. Just please. And I was like, no. And then I did. And of course I was like, I'm fading. I'm melting. Because then I didn't have any pain anymore. Big digits. Finkel is I know. I used to think I was indecisive, but now I'm not so sure. Yes. I like that. Dear God. But yeah, I fell asleep around midnight and I woke up at 5 o'clock. So just God hates me. I swear, every time I get a chance to sleep like 8 or 9 hours straight, he's like, no, no, no. Can't have that. Wakey, wakey, short and flaky. Like, let's go. But yeah, so I've been awake since 5 o'clock in the morning. And I was just like, all right, what do I do? Like, I have 4.5 hours before the show. I don't want to watch anything, but I wound up watching John Wick. I don't know how my brain works. Oh, well, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. What should we watch? Oh, let's watch a bloodthirsty kind of, like action movie. That's great. Sure. I don't know why I watched John Wick. I do love me some John Wick. I love those movies. They're disturbing and they're so graphic and just so violent. And I just sit there like, yes, give me more. Like, I love them. I really do. It's not even a Keanu Reeves thing because, I mean, to me, him in those movies is like, meh. I like all the characters. I really do. I mean, movies have always been one of my go-tos, to set the pace for the day or whatever. I get lost in movies. I no longer watch rom-coms. Any kind of like chick flick. I haven't watched chick flicks except by accident. Like they start out as like a drama or like, a thriller. And then they're like, I'm like, really? They had to throw this shit in here? Like, because I do anything I can to avoid like any type of emotion. Like, I don't want to watch something that's going to make me cry or feel bad about my life or whatever. And chick flicks always do because they sell you this bullshit that's never going to happen. They have these perfect little girls with their perfect little voices and their perfect hair and their perfect clothes. And they're like, oh my God, I can't get a guy. Well, bitch, if you can't get one, like what the hell the shot do the rest of us have? And then of course they go for like these like ultra like buff, gorgeous, like rich dudes. And they're like, I wonder why it didn't work out. Cause you're a bitch. Like that's why. And then in the end she gets at him. I'm like, that ain't fair. She put him through all this bullshit. Does he really think she's going to get better? Because I doubt it. Crazy is crazy. I've been watching this one chick on YouTube. I'm not going to say who it is. But bro, she's got problems. She's got problems. You were looking for Jody Bolt. Do you know her? No, I do not, honey. I'm sorry. But yeah, like this chick on YouTube, she's got problems. She keeps going live when she's fucked up. And like her life is already a dumpster fire. So then she goes on and she's, knocking back, booze and she's smoking up and she's ranting and raving, playing really bad music and just going on and on about bullshit like the Lord of Light and blah, 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 blah. And she's not talking about God being the Lord of Light. She's talking about like a light lord, like some voodoo bullshit. And it's, I can't, y'all. I can't. I watch her and I'm like, where is your self-respect? Where is your dignity? Like, where is it? Like, go look in like the closet or something, find a speck of it and hold on to that bitch for dear life. Because this ain't a good look. And she's not young. She's in her late 40s. She's my age. Stop it. Stop putting every single thought in your head that shouldn't be there, by the way, out on the internet and slamming other people. I put my thoughts on the internet. I put my feelings, my experiences on YouTube. Will I talk shit about some of my exes? Yep, sure will. But never to the extent she does it. Oh my good God. Like, I don't want to ruin them. And then it's the flip-flop and the back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm just like, girl, this is not a good look. At this point in your life, I don't care who has screwed you up. Get some self-control. Like, you see your dignity down on the ground with like shit and puke on it and everything else. Pick it up, wash it off, and like stick it back on because you need some. P. Digits. Is she a Viking? She could be speaking of Odin. No, she's not speaking of Odin. Trust me, I highly doubt she's ever had a real Viking. And she's definitely not a Viking. Ho, maybe. The word skank comes to mind. But I'm not saying who it is. It could be anybody. And if you are aware of it or somebody knows who it is and she thinks it's her, well, if the shoe fits, lace that bitch up and wear it and get the fuck out. Like, take a run. Anyway, like I was saying, today's a weird day. Woke up at 5. I watched John Wick. And I realized that it was May 10th. And that's my father's birthday. He would have been 81. Now, he's been dead since 2002. I mean, technically, since like 6 o'clock in the morning, 2000, the last day of 2001. But 2002 is easier to say. And I'm overjoyed about it. Like, 22 years without the fucker's great. It was great. It's 22 years of like, where I don't have to look over my shoulder. But yeah, today's his birthday. So today also marks the day I went into preterm labor with Katie 28 years ago. So 28 years ago today, I was standing in the middle of Miguel's living room with Frankie, our friend Frankie, looking at me going, Michelle, what is that thing your stomach's doing? What? He's like, what is your stomach doing? Now there's like 6 of us in the room. We're all focused on my stomach now. I'm 7 months pregnant. I look down and my stomach would get real high and like harden to almost like a point. And then like I'd go, like, cause it hurt. And then it would just like drop. And then it would do it again. And I was like, what the hell? And Vicky's like, bitch, you're in labor. I was like, I am not. She's like, those are contractions. I have 3 children. Those are contractions. She was like, nope. She was like, what did you do today? I was like, yeah. Shut up. And she was like, oh my God, you did. Yeah, I did. You know that some bitch made me walk to the hospital? An ex of mine passed by us on the street while I'm actively having contractions and stopping like every 10 feet to go, ow, 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 ow. And he stopped and he was like, oh my God, Michelle, look at you. Oh my God, are you in labor? Get in the car. And he was like, no, she's fine. She'll walk. And then got into a fight with the dude. So the dude drove off. I was like, bitch, I still got 7 blocks to walk. Are you kidding? Are you kidding? He made me walk to the hospital, bastard. But yeah, I did not have my daughter early. I took Breathine like they asked me to, and I managed to hold her ass in. And then when it was time for her to come out, she was like, nope, I was ready before. Now you wait for me. I tell you, kids, have fun, have kids, they said. It'll be fun, they said. I did that to my son the other day. I was like, have kids, they said. It'll be fun, they said. You'll love it, they said. He was hysterical. He was like, who would ever tell you that? That's not your friend. I was like, thanks. I was like, it's nice to know you can take a joke. But yeah, he's been really good the last like couple, I don't know, weeks. Like 2-3 weeks ago, he was literally making me cry every day. And I think it finally like hit him how like he was frustrated with people and with, you know, like his iPad situation and whatever. And he was just taking it out on me. And it was not fun. It was not fun to be at the receiving end of that vitriol because my son is my son. And let's face it, his father isn't exactly, you know, gentle with his words. Like he likes to go right for the kill. So my son got it double. So double the mean, double the stubborn. And it was all focused on me. And I pretty much wanted to like, you know, either put him or me in the ground. I was just like, I can't survive this. There's no way I'm going to survive his teenage years. There's no freaking way. Like this can't be his personality for life because somebody's going to punch him in the face. And maybe they need to. I don't know. I don't want it to happen. But you know what? Sometimes you got to learn the hard way. But he's been really, really good. He's been going to get packages, going to get the mail, going to the store. He's been cooking. super sweet. He comes out here and he's just like got a million questions, and it's like, okay. Um, and he's just been really good. So his father sent me money for him. First time in I think 3 years he sent anything. And so I told Connor, I said, your father sent me this amount. Da, da, da. Is there something you need? And he was like, I want to tell you to put it all toward bills. He was like, but I really need a new iPad. And I was like, okay. He said, I need more memory. He was like, I need it to be faster. I need it to be newer. I need it to do the things, that I need it to do. Because my son does a lot of artwork for commission. So like he did that little icon that you're looking at in the middle, my little cat, he did that. He was like, oh yeah, I'll make one for you. Boop. No, he was like, here you go. And he makes, like for a 17-year-old, he makes decent money doing that just in his spare time when he's not playing around or whatever, or doing whatever. And he's good at it. And I didn't realize that like there would be such a market for that, being that he's only, 17 or whatever. He was like, I have some money. He was like, I'll give you that. I was like, no, you keep that money. He was like, I have cash. I was like, what do you mean you have cash? Where'd you get cash? He was like, oh, I've been saving all my present money from grandma, from all my birthdays and Christmas and whatever. So he had like 200 some odd dollars. And I was like, no, I'll pay for it. He was like, no, take the cash. He was like, at least, like what I want is not cheap. I was like, okay. I'm thinking like the last time I bought him an iPad, it was like $400. And he's like, yeah, no, this one's double. I was like, crap. I was like, fine. And he was like, but it's perfect. He was like, I swear to God. He was like, I take care of my stuff. I was like, yes, yes, yes. So he decided he wanted me to get this with the money and then to give me the other money. He was like, and whatever's left, he was like, just pay bills. He was like, that's all you got to do. I was like, all right. So as usual, I put it on the side, and if he wants it later, there it is. But I'll let him think that I'm paying a bill with it. I have every bill paid for the month, so I'm not going to stress over it. But yeah, I bought him with his money. I got him a brand new iPad Air, whatever. I don't know anything about it. I literally use a 5-year-old iPad that like he outgrew and was like, oh, this doesn't hold, my stuff anymore. And I was like, I'll take it, wipe it clean. And that was it. Because I don't do anything but watch videos on it. It's like, meh. Like, he uses it for everything. It drives me crazy. Darth Hideous. All things can be endured, so endure them. If they cannot be endured, just die then. Marcus Aurelius. I hate you. I was not expecting that ending, but I guess I should have. Oh, damn, Darth. So, according to Marcus Aurelius, all things can be endured. Yeah. So just do it, endure them. And if you can't, well, then just die. Like, those are your choices. Do it or die, basically. Do or die. Break it down to just 3 words: do or die. There you go. I mean, that's really good advice. It is. If it can't be endured, well, I mean, then you're going to feel like you died anyway. I'm just kidding, people. Do not die, please. Like, I can't lose any more people. I'm of a different mindset. I think if you're going through hell, keep going. There's an end. Don't sit and languish in hell. Don't backtrack, because you're just going to have to go through it later. Don't postpone it. Just go through it, get through it, get over it. Sometimes you got to do things that you don't want to do. That's what, like, all these kids, that's all I ever heard my kids. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I'm like, I love that you think you have a choice. Like, you don't. They're like, well, I want that. I don't care what you want. Like, the world is not going to bend to your will. It's just not. Trust me, if anybody's will was going to be bent to, it would have been the Gen Xers. And no, We're just the survivalists. But they're like, oh, I want it done this way. Well, boo frickin' who for you? I don't like this. Good, cry more. Like, I mean, and my son's like, God, you're so like rough and so mean sometimes. I'm like, I'm not mean. I'm pragmatic and I'm practical and I'm realistic. I'm looking at something going, I really don't want to do that. It has to get done. Who's going to do it? Me. I could ask, one of my kids to do it, but then it's not going to get done. I could ask, my mother to do it and definitely not going to get done. And if it does, I'm going to have to thank her forever. So fuck that. Life is hard. Candace Owens was not wrong. She was like, man, life is hard. Get a helmet. Like, I'm way too pregnant for this. Shit was funny, but true. I was like, see, pregnant women at the end, they're like, screw you. Like, I don't have it in me for small talk. I don't have it in me to sugarcoat shit. Just, life is hard. Get a helmet, like, and go run at the wall. God, like, I thought when she said that, I was like, yes, finally somebody said it. P Digits, dang, I have zero talent when I was younger, so I pushed my lawnmower around the neighborhood. Absolutely. You did what you had to do. God, I made jewelry. I worked in the gas station. I mean, what was my talent as a kid? Being out of the way and just getting things done, like getting all the inventory because I was good with numbers, doing the invoicing, the billing, all of that kind of stuff with my grandmother. That's what I was good at. Teaching other people. So what did I do? I tutored all the time. That's all I did. Teachers would be like, look, I have a niece or a nephew or whatever that they're not learning this. Can you come? Sure, why not? My whole senior year, that's how I made money, was tutoring little kids. My Italian teacher, like Mr. Perk, oh my God. He was like, oh, come over. He was like, my nephew's in 4th grade. And he was like, he's terrible in math and he's terrible in English. I was like, that's nice. He was like, just come over and like teach him. He was like, I don't have the patience. I was like, you are literally a teacher. He's like, I teach Italiano. He was like, I'm not teaching arithmetic. He was like, I can't do that. He was like, I do math in my head. They want it on paper. It's ridiculous. It's too much work. So, I mean, I went over to his store that he had. It was called the Soccer Cup. And it was a, sports memorabilia, sports equipment, sporting outfits, like sport gear, that kind of store. And in his basement, he had like it all set up. There was a kitchenette and like a little living room. And me and the kid would go down there and we'd like, for like 1 or 2 hours twice a week, we'd do work. Now, I was only charging him like $10 an hour for this because I was in freaking high school. And he'd be like, here's 50, here's 50, here's 50, I'm like, that's way too much money. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. But the kid passed the year with A's. And he pulled up all his grades because he was failing. It was bad. But I mean, that's what I was good at. And he was like, you make the homework fun. I was like, yeah, of course I do. Because if it's boring, you're not going to do it. Like, there's always got to be like, okay, let's do this many. And then you get a break. And then do this many, go get a bag of chips. Do this many, go get a cookie. Like, I always had you work for a certain amount, not of time, because they could draw that shit out. But like you do a certain amount of work and you get a reward. You do a certain amount of work, you get a reward. And I had him trained up literally in 2 days. And he was just like, he knew what to expect. He knew what I expected of him. And he met every, like standard that I sent for him. And he was proud of himself. He was a great kid. He started out with an attitude and wound up being one of my favorite people. And he was just so sweet. And I was so young. I think about it. I'm like, why did these people trust me with their children, like with their education? I was 17 years old. Are you stupid? But apparently I was the one with no self-confidence. In you, out you, all around you. Here she comes. Happy Friday, lovey. She said, we survived, but my daughter's without power. Oh no. And have to go take her ice and an ice chest and the Rosa and Grace. Wish me luck. Buona fortuna. Good luck, honey, and please be safe. Have safe travels. Be back in a few hours. Just go slow. And, word of advice, if it looks like it's shallow enough to drive through it, don't. Because it's not. Don't do that to your poor engine. I hate watching people do that. They do it here all the time. They're like, "Oh, I can go through. Oh, look, my car it's still going." I'm like, "Yeah, pop the hood. Let's see what it looks like in about a week." Like, it breaks my heart to watch them do that. I'm just like, "Oh, good God, why are you doing that to your car? Why?" And then they're like, "I don't know. My car makes a weird noise. I don't understand why I have to take it in. All the lights are on the dashboard." Yeah, because you fucked it up. But it's a car, not a boat. Don't put it through water. Because around here, it looks like it's like 2 inches of water, right? You're like, "Oh, yeah, no, yeah, right. That shit is up to your windshield." Like, your entire front is submerged and just got like huge waves coming out the side. And they're just like, "Oh, I can make it." No, you can't. Yeah, we go. I like watching when they're like, it breaks my heart for the car, but for the people, I think it's hilarious because I'm like, that's so expensive. And I watch them go through. They get halfway through this giant puddle, and then they're like, "I'm making it. I'm making it." You didn't make it. It's like- and they're like, "I can't believe the car stopped." Really? 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 Like, no common sense. People have no common sense. P Digit said, "Be right back. I have a Teams meeting." Oh, we'll be here. We'll be here. Catching up on, let's see, everybody. If somebody could throw the Joe's link out for his Give Send Go, that'd be great. I want to always bring that up, that Joe is doing his Ungag Trump, hashtag Ungag Trump on Gifts and Go. Give, Send, Go. I never pronounce it correctly. I pronounce it Gifts and Go because that's how I pronounce it. And it's funny because I was watching Joe last night before I fell asleep, and I don't remember. Oh, he said stupid. But the way he said it, I was giggling like crazy because he went real Jersey. He said, "You're stupid." And if you're not from here, you don't realize the depth of emotion that he had in that word. It was great. I was like, wow, he went real Jersey right there. You're stupid. But it was glorious. It put me in such a good mood. I mean, I was in a good mood anyway because I was watching last night. Winning did Unveiling Reality, and he was covering CERN and the Mandela effect. And he was debunking both, and he was debunking the CERN thing, like to say, okay, this is not the God particle. It's like the, where's the goddamn particle? And like he was, I couldn't remember. Thank God Enya was there. Like we were talking back and forth because I was like, I'm sitting here going, I remember a book happening and I can't remember. And then she started talking. I was like, oh, that's right. It was Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. It wasn't so much in the movie as it was in the book. And I had read the books before I saw the movies. The dude that did the Da Vinci Code, that wrote the Da Vinci Code, Dan Brown. He also wrote Angels and Demons. And it was all about, they were creating, like at CERN, they were creating antimatter, and it was it was this whole thing. And I remember reading it, and then I was just like, that can't be true. But I didn't care enough to look it up. And then when it was like, oh, I'm going to do CERN, I was like, CERN. What is that? What is that? What? And I was like, oh my God, that's right. That's what this is. And then I forgot. I was excited to watch. The stream, but I forgot what CERN was about because I'm deepity lately. And then Enya came on, and I was like, oh, okay, now I remember. And yeah, it was a whole thing with the God particle and whatever. I was like, all right. And I was glad I knew about it, but I had never seen like the whole mechanism. I knew it was like a big circle, but I didn't know like how big, and that they wanted to go bigger. I didn't know it took 30 years for them to build. Holy crap. Like it costs like what, half of Twitter to build that damn thing. And what does it do? Like, I mean, that's the whole thing. So people got all like shifty about it, and they're all, oh my God, it's going to end the world. And so he broke that down and debunked that. And then he went into the Mandela effect, and I was like, God, he's going through all these like examples. And I'm like, yep. Like, I don't know why I thought that Mr. Peanut had like either a monocle or I can't remember if he had a monocle or glasses or if they switched it, if he had a cane. I knew he had a top hat. Like there were things like the Kellogg's, like Tony the Tiger on Kellogg's, how you spell Fruit Loop. I knew Mandela didn't die in jail. That one I knew. At least not when they said he did. I knew he died much later. I didn't know about like Mother Teresa. Everybody's like, oh yeah, everybody's called her Saint Teresa. And it's like, but she was never canonized. So it's like, so she's not a saint. She's just Mother Teresa. And all these different things. And I'm like, no, but I'm certain I remember that. I'm like, no. It's just something I convinced myself of because people mentioned it over and over and it became truth. And that's what I was trying to tell you guys the other day about the whole Stormy Daniels testimony. That the defense kept throwing out just all these details, getting her to make all these salacious comments and throwing in things about, oh, you look like my daughter. Because they wanted a throwback to when they tried the first time to say, oh, he's attracted to his daughter. He's a pedophile. How about you focus on your Democratic hair sniffer? The one who likes to sniff little kids. And when he goes near little kids, they tense up and like by just instinct, move away. When you see a kid like bunch their shoulders up, tuck in their arms and lean away and like have that smile on their face, like, oh God, this is painful. Like, there's something going on there. They have like this instinct. Trust them. Will Raleigh, how are you? We got SmackDown tonight. I'm so excited. Anyway, I'm very happy to watch SmackDown. That's a Friday night thing for me and Winnie. Looking for those glitches, man. Looking for those glitches. Glitches for bitches. We had, I don't know. So tonight, now you know what I'll be doing tonight. Because, it's party all the time over here. That's about as exciting as I can get at this point. I was never a party girl. I never was. I was never let's go to the clubs. They used to have to drag me to clubs. And it was always with the whole promise of, you'll be dancing. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm like, what kind of music are they playing? Because if it's lame, I don't want to go. Like, if it's not something that I'm going to enjoy, like, I can't. Like, no. It's going to be all just rap music. I can't dance to that shit. Yeah, it's got to be either like Spanish music, house music, or reggae if I'm going to be dancing. Or like techno. But other than that, no. Like, no. Keep all your bluesy crap. I don't want to be slow dancing. I want to get on the dance floor and shake my ass the way God intended. So, yeah, I was never that girl that was like, oh my God, I want to go to the bar tonight. Oh my God, I want to do this. If I went to a bar, it's because Tommy was like, hey, let's go get a beer because I got something I got to talk about. Okay. And we went to the bar, had one beer and played pool and then went home and did whatever. Because, I do know how to take his mind off things. Or at least I did. Now I just hope he stays where the fuck he's at. But it's like, stay in jail. Stay there, please. I know I'm all over the place. I'm in a good mood. I'm just, a little sleep deprived. I'm a little punchy. Let's see. So, like I was saying, yesterday was really bad with the pain. I woke up still in pain. I'm in pain now, but I did not smoke. I didn't smoke any weed because I would have never made it through the stream. But to get me in the mood, I pulled out the music. After John Wick, yeah. I was like, all right, Katie made me coffee. I doctored it up because I swear to God, the way she makes me coffee, it's like paint thinner. I swear she wants to like remove my insides. She just wants to burn a hole right through my stomach. Like just take my whole esophagus. Maybe she's thinking I'll lose my voice, but she ain't that lucky. They were lucky. I lost my voice once for it was like a month and a half. I couldn't talk above a whisper. My children were in their glory. They would do shit just to make me yell because nothing came out. I don't know what I did, but I just lost my voice completely. The kids at school loved it. And that's when I developed the stare. And they just be like, I just look at them and I learned to communicate with my eyes. They knew. They'd stop right on a dime and be like, she looks pissed. Like, so Like, oh, Miss Michelle. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But his gifts and go. What is his gifts and go at now? Is it still at 23? I know he changed the gifts and go on gig. Oh, jeez. What is going on? There we go. Oh, he reached a $25,000 goal. So, of course, he increased it to 50. He's going to need it too. Got a good lawyer, though. He got a good lawyer this time to help him because he was getting tripped up on different like protocols and legalities because it's not really his forte. Like, that's not his area of expertise. So he did need the help. Darth Hideous. So Katie makes proper coffee. She makes that Mississippi mud coffee. I mean, it can literally like it burns, like, Smeagol, it burns, like, it burns. Like, you probably would like it. I'm just like, dear God, bring me water and more creamer. Holy crap. It's still strong, but I don't taste it as much. That's all right. Well, I wasn't saying that to make you fix it. Stop it. Thank you for dropping the links, though. Did anybody drop Dart's links? I didn't notice. You probably did. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, so if we could drop Dart's links, he reached 100 on Rumble. And I believe you reached 200. Did you reach 200 on YouTube? Too late. It's fair. I know. Thank you, Wolfram. I really didn't mean that. I don't want anybody to take anything I say as a criticism. And thank you for that. You know the standard ones. For a second. Yeah, I know. YouTube has been playing with one sub of mine for 4 days. It gives it, it takes it. It gives it, it takes it. It'll give and take it like 4 or 5 times a day. And I'm like, this better be YouTube and not some jackass sitting there, sub, unsub, sub, unsub, because, people like to be assholes. It's like the one person who loves to like leave me a thumbs down on YouTube. Like, that's really? It's like, really? Whatever. Like, we know who you are, but because you have patterns. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about today was music, because I did pull out the Gloria Gaynor to get myself in the mood to do the stream, because I was like, I'm never going to fucking wake up. Like, there's no way. I'm going to be like falling asleep and I don't know what to talk about. I was like, all right. I was like, what am I going to do to get myself in like a chatty mood? I was like, well, change your mood, bitch. Like, that's what we do. And music is that thing that I've always relied on. It's just always been there for me. No matter, I can find the song to fit my mood, or I can find a song to change my mood. And nothing else has ever had that big of an effect on me. I mean, I love to read, so books can, set the tone for me. But nothing is better than music, because you have everything you want in a song. There's melody, there's, the beat to it, there's a story in it, there's the ability to like relate to whatever's in there, you find emotion in it. It wraps itself around you. And it's so easy to get lost in the sound of it, in the meaning of it. And it becomes this other thing. And I don't know if it's the same with you. I have great visualization skills. You say anything and my brain automatically gives me a picture of it. And sometimes it's a whole movie and I'm just like, thanks for that visual. T-Rex does it to me on purpose all the time. I'm like, you bastard. He's like, you're welcome. Because he knows that I automatically picture it. Whatever you're saying just coalesces in my head as a picture. And you could mess me up doing that. You can. I shouldn't tell you all that, but yeah, you can. You can mess me up doing that. And he likes to do that just to mess with me. which is fine. It's all done out of love. Um, but yeah, I was like, all right, so what am I gonna do? I put Gloria Gaynor on. That got me in a certain thing. And then I was like, all right, I gotta laugh today. I was like, it's a high pain day, laughter is key. What can I listen to? So I put on now this it's like 8 o'clock in the morning at this point. I put on this song from Beaches by Bette Midler called Otto Titzling. It's not one of those sad songs. It's from like a play that was written in the movie and da-da-da. And it's funny. It's Otto Titzling, inventor and crowd, nothing to get very worked up about. His inventions were failures. His future seemed bleak. He fled to the opera at least twice a week. But it talks about titslings and brassieres and like, he tried some string and paper clips. He even tried his own tulips, and it's just fucking funny. But singing it was even funnier. And my son heard me. Goes out. He goes, "What the hell are you saying?" I was like, "No, wait. I even got one better." And I started singing Dear Penis. And he was just like, no. I was like, it's a great song. He was like, no, it's not. He was like, that's a terrible song. But it makes me laugh. I'm very easily amused. So it does. It makes me laugh. Remind me to send you Kasky freestyle later. Okay. Me reminding you, probably not. But like, write a note, Darth. What the hell? Because I don't remember. But yeah, so I filter my emotions through songs. Every memory I have has some type of song attached to it. Especially the good ones. There are certain songs that I can't play without breaking down. What was it? The American Torch song? The American Trilogy Torch song that Elvis sang. Halfway through it, I mean, it's like this whole big crescendo and whatever, and it's like da-da-da-da, and then it drops and it goes real quiet, and he sings, "Hush, little baby, don't you cry. You know your daddy's bound to die." And I heard that song for the very first time that I can remember when I was 14, and it was like about a year after my dad passed away. And I lost it. And I must have rewound that part. Like, because I found it, I taped it. Because back then we used to play mixtapes. We used to sit with the radio. And it was like, you'd sit there, wait for the song. And you'd have record pushed down, but you'd have it on pause. Because you wanted to be able to just hit one button and catch it before, you got too far into the song. So you'd wait for those first few notes. You'd be like, and you unpause it, and then you record it, and then you're trying to like cut it off before the jackass DJ gets on and ruins the end of the song with his voice. Okay, and you send Michelle Kasky. There you go. She's navigating floodwaters over there. Stop. Everybody's navigating some type of extreme weather. This is terrible. But yeah, so I wound up recording it, and because it had gotten real popular, that it was like 1988, and I think like they came out with like Priscilla and Me, the book or whatever. So there was like a whole resurgence in Elvis popularity, and they played this on, was it Hot 97 or Z100? I think it was Z100. On like the Casey Kasem, whatever, all the freaking time. So I was able to record it, and I sat there listening to that part over and over till I kind of tried to desensitize myself. Because I figured if I listen to it over and over, I won't cry anymore. It won't bother me. Yeah, bullshit. I could hear it today and still cry. Puff the Magic Dragon, I know what it's about. I do. It should be funny. It's not. Because you go with the whole, the kid grows up and, kids grow up, they don't come back. And Puff's all by himself, and he goes into the cave, and green scales fall like rain. I have green eyes. That just means I'm crying. So it's like I'm very much Puff the Magic Dragon in that song. And I take it really, really hard. Really hard. Like It makes me cry every single time. Vicky, my friend Vicky, used to like be hysterical because she'd be like, "You could be in the best mood. All I gotta do is like hum a couple bars, and you're just like, why would you do that to me?" Like, because she goes, "You're so attached to the emotion, like to your feelings with that music. It's such a trigger." Speaking of triggers, hello, winning reality. I don't mean trigger like set me off. I mean trigger like, for who had trigger? Was it the Lone Ranger? I'll be the Lone Ranger, you be trigger. Let's go for a ride. Wow, I am a little spicy today. Anyway, it's extremely beautiful, sunny and 60 degrees and today. Yeah, but you're in Michigan, so I mean that kind of wipes out that whole thing. No hatred for Michigan. Everybody hates on Jersey. So it's just like I just had to spread that kind of, that attitude. But yeah, no, like there's certain songs that will always make me cry. Puff the Magic Dragon's one of them. Perfect. That goddamn song by what the hell? Was it Roy Rogers that had Trigger? I don't know. I don't care as long as I'm the jockey, damn it. Who was it? Y'all, now I'm thinking about riding and shit. And there goes my thought. Damn it. Where was I? Oh, the song Perfect by Ed Sheeran. I hate that song. I hate it. Was it the Lone Ranger? Lone Ranger. You know what? I don't care. Just be the damn horse. Save a horse, ride a cowboy. There you go. You can be giddy up, bitch. Like, I can't. Lone Ranger had silver. Oh my God. This is a conversation. All right. You boys have fun having that conversation. You men. I'm sorry, men. Men. God. Oh, good. You both agree. Lone Ranger had silver. There you go. Well, you could be Roy Rogers and I'll be Dale Evans. Giddy up. Anyway, like I was fucking saying, y'all just took my brain and just ran with it. What was I saying? Some bitch. I can't stand any of you. Oh, perfect. My ex, the redhead, decided one day to send me a DM in Discord back when I had like my other Discord, which is dead in the water now. He sent me the lyrics and he sent me the song attached to it. And he knows how I am. I was an English major in college. I am very much into meanings and everything else. And when you know somebody for like 35 years, you tend to know that about them. And he sent this shit to me and he was like, "This is from me to you." And I'm reading it and I was like, yeah, well, the sentiment is nice, but fuck you. And I had never heard the song. It had just come out. And he sent that to me and I was devastated. I was so hurt because it's like, okay, why would you do that? Why would you say all these wonderful things? But that's not the reality. So you're like putting me emotionally through like this whole landmine that is set up and it's just one after another. So now when I hear that song, I literally go catatonic because it's so much the overwhelming emotion and toxicity that comes with that goddamn song. I shut down. And it's the funniest thing. Like my friends think it's hilarious because they're like, she can't talk. I can't move. I can't talk. I literally, like, my whole body just shuts down. It's like, no, we're not dealing with this. So I just block everything out. And it'll take me like 10, 15 minutes to like come back to life after that song is over. I hate that song. I hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's such a great song." I'm like, fuck you and your perfect song. But there's all sorts of stuff. Like, I'm one of those people that I analyze everything. If you know me at all, I like to pick stuff apart. I like to get to the meaning. I like the hidden meaning. I want to know where it's coming from. I I want to know what made you feel that way. I want to know if it's true. I want to know if it's just a fantasy. I want to know if it's a lie. I will literally look at it from 1,000 different perspectives. But I'm not doing it to be a pain in the ass. I do it because that's the way my brain works. And I enjoy doing it. I enjoy looking for the meanings and things because I sang so many songs as a kid that I didn't listen to the lyrics. And now as an adult, I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I sang that song. Like, I can't believe they let me even listen to that song. It's crazy the things they put in these fucking lyrics. And it's cute because lately the shorts on YouTube, they've been doing this resurgence of musical censorship, right? In the past. And they talk about like, they're like, oh, you think lyrics are bad now? Wait. And they'll put on like some old, like 1920s, like R&B kind of like some jazz song or whatever. Talking about, yeah, I got this one. Oh, what is it? She was like, I got titties with my nipples big as my thumbs. And I got something between my legs to make all the boy. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Like, and this is just a song. They have tons of songs about reefer. That's what they called it. They have all songs about getting smoked out and about getting high and about all this stuff. And I'm like, they're bitching about music now. From the beginning, they were all like salacious and sexy. I love that stuff. That discovering songs like that to me is amazing. Cause I'm like, wow, they really pushed the envelope. They like went way over the line with this one. I love that. I absolutely do because it's hilarious. Because the censors, they passed it whenever they, like listened to it because they didn't know what the hell it meant. So it was like, it's all slang and innuendo, but some of them are just like, she said, my titties hang low, my nipples are as big as my thumb. I was like, oh, it's like, there's this, and my brain was like, incoming visual. Thank you so much. Especially once I found out what she actually looked like. I was like, great. Now it's really a thorough visual. It's just the way my head works. Just the way my head works. But I wonder if it's a Gen X thing or if other generations do it as much. Because we really like Gen X embraced music in a way I don't think any of the others did. I mean, we lived our music. It became like it was the look, it was the sound, it was our attitude. It influenced what we wore, what we drove, where we went, who we hung out with, the language we used. And how many of us, I know that you're all out there. Somebody will say something, you respond with the song lyric. Winning literally like just drops them in conversations just to see if I'm going to sing them. And I do every fucking time. Every time. I am the best trained monkey for him you could ever imagine. He will literally just drop lines and I just pick them up and sing them. And I'm like, damn you. And even when I say, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I can't not do it. Because even if I'm not singing it out loud, he knows I'm singing it in my head. And I won't talk until it's complete because I can't. Because it's dying. Like if I open my mouth, I know that song is just going to come rushing out of my mouth. Against my will. I'm like, nope, not talking. And you'll hear me like, like I'll humbug. Any kind of silence I fill with music. The weirdest music. Jingles. I'm like, da-da-da. Imperial. Who the hell remembers a friggin' margarine commercial from like the early da-da-da-da. Imperial. It was a margarine commercial. Stuck in my head. Every time I yawn, I'm like, oh, Green Giant. Like, every time. Never fails. Never fails. Pink digits. I wore a lot of flannel plaid during the grunge era, didn't we all? Didn't we all? But we didn't wear the flannel shirts like a shirt. You wore it around your hips. You wore it tied around your waist or whatever, just hanging off with the loose baggy jeans and whatever, and pair of Doc Martens or yeah. Yeah, I had my grunge era. It was a really weird transition because I went from like romantic poet shirts with like lacy vests and everything because that was what we were wearing right into grunge. And it was like, wow, that was a transition. I came downstairs. My girl said, "What the hell do you have on? Are you going to paint something?" I was like, "What?" She was like, "Are you building something?" I was like, "Why?" She said, "Because you look like a workman." I was like, "Thanks." She was like, "I'm just saying, like, where are all your shirts?" And I was like, "What do you mean? I'm wearing this." I was wearing a t-shirt with like the plaid, wrapped around my waist, and my hair was all messy. I had bed head on purpose. And she was just like, "Where are you going?" Like, what? She thought I was building something. I was like, "Why do you look like that? What?" Go upstairs and put real clothes on. Like, I don't want people to see you. You look terrible. I was like, "I look cute." She was like, "You look like a hobo." A hobo from Hoboken. Who knew? Winning reality. Yeah, those couple of years, everything turned Seattle. Yeah, it really did. That's why, like, when he died, everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's the end of an era." No, it just means we all have to shower. Like, you'll have to stop wearing chip nail polish and shit. Wolfram raises a paw. There you go. Wendy, where's the beef? Is everlasting. Where's the beef? Like, I swear to God, like, I thought that was going to be me as like a 90-year-old little old lady. And it still might be. I might walk up and be like, "Where's the beef?" That's not the one I'm talking about, Sonny. Like, I'm gonna be that little old lady pinching dudes' butts as they pass by and be like, "Oh, was that you?" Sure was. I told you, it's your mom. Great. Where's the beef? Oh my God, Michelle, where's the beef? Where's the beef, Michelle? Well, if you don't know, I ain't telling you. I've had way too many conversations about beef with my mother. Thank you. What was I gonna say? Music. What they do today to me is not music. So I pretty much stopped listening to, except for like the random thing, pretty much stopped listening to any of this crap that they churn out. Since maybe, I don't know, around 2005. And at that point, I only really listened to country at that point because everything else sucked. But occasionally there'll be something that really I just really like Alicia Keys, "Girl on Fire." Like that one, that I love that song. There's some things like I didn't really like "Chandelier" at first, but it grew on me because it was catchy. Uh, it's weird the things that I like now. Like I love Pink. "So What?" Huge one for me. What is that other song that she did? I don't know. It's the one where my socks are never clean and whatever. Like my parents hated me, my teachers dated me. I was like, "Oh, that's my song." Like there you go. Hazard to Myself. That's the one. When we're 90, we'll have to scream at a right? I just listen to 50s to 90s music. I'm stuck. I'll go back to the 20s easily. I love all that kind of big band music. I love swing music. The golden oldies, as we call them, not golden oldies to this generation, to our generation. All the easy listening, like Frank Sinatra, the crooners. But everything, even like the funny ones. There was a whole period of time where music was nothing but like weirdness. What was it? Yakety yak. I mean, come on. You got yakety yak, don't talk back. It's like, okay, like, sure. Who wears short shorts? Like, these were not like deep emotional albums. They were just fun. They were fun and they were happy to sing. One of the ones I put on this morning was "Raining on Prom Night" from Grease because it makes me laugh because it's just so cute. Because I can honestly see she's like, "Oh, like the rain, melted my makeup and my hair and it fucked up my underwear," like her maiden form. If you don't know what a maiden form is, you don't know that it screwed up her padded underwear, which meant she was wearing a padded bra and it got all like weird and lumpy in the rain or whatever. Yeah, she loses her ID down the sewer, her sister's ID. And it's hilarious to me. Because you don't think about what did she say? She's like, I was deprived of a young girl's dream by a cruel force of nature from the blue. Instead of a night full of romance supreme, what I got was a runny nose and Asiatic flu. It's like, who thought of these lyrics? Like, who thought of these? Asiatic flu. It was the same thing with Ruby Don't Take Your Love to Town. He's like, it wasn't me that started that old crazy Asian war. And I'm like, wait, what? I don't remember that the first time around. They slip these little details in that you're just singing this song that you've sung 100 times. And you're like, wait, I don't remember that part. Like, I remember the words, but I never actually listened to it. I just regurgitated the lyrics. But we had funny songs. We had meaningful songs. Now it's like I said, I love Pink. There's that song, what's it called? True Love. That one speaks to me. It really, really does. It's like, I don't want to get the lyrics wrong. It's got it's by Pink. Sometimes I hate every single stupid word you say. Sometimes I want to slap you in your whole face. There's no one quite like you. You push all my buttons now, but I know life would suck without you. At the same time, I want to hug you. I want to wrap my hands around your neck. You're an asshole, but I love you. And you make me so mad, I ask myself why I'm still here. Where could I go? You're the only love I've ever known, but I hate you. I really hate you so much. I think it must be true love. That song, to me, that's my mindset. I'm like, oh, God, I want to like just quit. And I'm just like, when I go quiet, it's because you've either said something to hurt me or said something so stupid I can't even address it. And I just go, shut up, Michelle. Shut up. Don't cause a problem. But then it's just like, and then the next minute it's like, oh, like, so I mean, whatever aggravated me is gone with the wind, and now I'm back to being all, oh, that's just me though. That's who I am. I'm very mercurial. That's what they'll say. I'm tactile and I'm mercurial. So like my moods come and go. I'm moody and all over the place. And yet I'm affectionate, Like, I might be like up and down, but I'm gonna hug the shit out of you and make you be like, all right, it's worth it. But yeah, that song, I love that song, True Love. I'm like, yeah, she gets it. I'm like, she gets. You could love somebody and still want to like. You just look at them like, God, why haven't you choked to death yet? Like, you don't mean it, but the thought is there. Like, you're just like, God, you're annoying me today. It just happens. It happens. But I mean, it's little things. And it's usually not the person. It's usually something else that's bothering you. But they're there and you're just like, all right, I'll just take it out on you. I try not to do that. I will stay by myself if I'm in that kind of a mood. But it took a long time to get to that spot. I was always just like, whatever mood I'm in, you're going to feel it. I don't care. Like, misery loves company. And if I'm going to be miserable, you're going to be miserable with me. It's different now. I don't want other people to be unhappy. I don't want anybody to hurt. I want everybody to be happy. But especially the people that I truly love, that matter to me. And it doesn't matter what fights we've gone through. It doesn't matter the things that have been said. I will stick it out. If the person is worth it, if I see something worthwhile and I don't feel, abused or like it's, going to go downhill, it's getting better or whatever, or it's just a temporary, like bump in the road, I will stay. I will soldier through. That's what I'm saying. When you're going through hell, sometimes your version of hell, it's not seen by other people like that. They're not aware that you're hurting. that you're upset, that you're mad. And they just think everything's fine. You just got to ride that out. Just sometimes it's easier to just let them think everything is fine and deal with what you're going through, because it might not have anything to do with them. You think it does, and then when you really like examine it and you pick it apart and you get to the root cause of it, you're like, oh shit, this had nothing to do with them. This is what's bothering me. And they had the unfortunate experience of being that last drop that sent the water flowing over, and out of the cup. That last the straw that broke the camel's back. But yeah, like there's, oh God, what songs? I'm trying to think. Like we had like Pat Benatar, we had Tom Petty. But like now, there's a movie that most people hate, Suicide Squad. I don't know why they think it was a bad movie. I happen to enjoy that first movie. I liked it very much. I've seen it at least 24 times. I just like it. I mean, I do have a thing for Jared Leto. So there is that. And, him and Margot Robbie, like the whole thing. Oh, it was just so good. Like Harley Quinn and the Joker is like, that's awesome to me. Very abusive and toxic and bad, but still like, part of me is like, the dedication. But the soundtrack to that movie is outstanding. You have, what do you have? You have Purple Lamborghini, but what the hell's his name? Skrillex, I think his name is. You have You Don't Own Me, the remix of it. Heathen, that's the Hoboken song, y'all. Heathen is by 21 Pilots is totally like everybody in Hoboken, like all the B&Rs like of my generation. We're like, yeah, like we get this song, like, because this is how we live. That was always how we lived. Like you had to be part of the like inner circle. We didn't let outsiders in. We don't trust outsiders, which was, it was really difficult for all of us to find people to marry because we had already dated through our whole entire friends network, and most of them didn't work out. So you had to bring in an outsider sometimes, and it was like, oh, how do I get them to like jive with my crew? And either they fit in or you wound up losing your friends. Like that was it. But that song that hit hard when I heard it. Gangsta. Oh my God, I love that song. I need a gangster to love me better than all the others do, to always forgive me, to ride or die with me. That's just what gangsters do. I love that song. Sucker for Pain. Oh, good song. I'm such a sucker for pain. I'm a sucker for pain. Oh my God, I love that song. They even have Bohemian Rhapsody in there in that soundtrack because they played it like during one of the fight scenes. But it was a really, really good soundtrack. But I mean, everybody's like, the movie sucked. I'm like, yeah, but the music, oh my God. And that's what we loved about the 80s movies. They were funny because you got to crack on people and whatever. Y'all remember what it was to just crack on people? That's what we called it. Oh, he's just cracking on you. It meant they're not taking it seriously. They're not trying to hurt you. It's just they're openly mocking you because it's fucking funny. Oh, they're cracking on. Oh, you dissing me? Now everybody takes it personally. Oh, you dissing me? You being disrespectful? No, I'm being funny. Lighten the fuck up. Like, grab a feather and lighten up. Like, I can't. But that's what it was. We'd say we were cracking on people. I used to crack on my mother all the time. I still do. I don't give a fuck. I really don't. P Digits, Shelly thinks the last thing I want to do is hurt you, but it's still on the list. You're not wrong. I'm like, listen, I would never say anything to hurt you, but let me just tell you this one thing. Oh, I don't want to tell you how I feel, so I'll just send you a song. That's what we did. I'm sorry. Like, that's what we did. And that's why, like, music means so much to me. It's funny because you can write me a poem. It's nice. It's going to have an impact. But lyrics to a song, oh dear Lord, I will take that shit to the bank. That will become holy writ. And I will dissect it, turn it inside out, and it'll mean more to me than it ever meant when you wrote it. So tread carefully. But yeah, like, and music, like, what, how do I say this without sound? Well, I guess I'm me, so it's not going to really matter how I say it. It'd be better if he wasn't here for it, though. Like, music is the way to get to me. It's the way to get a meaning through to me. If I'm not getting the meaning, like if you're having a hard time telling me something and you send a song and say, listen to this song, I will listen to that song 4, 5, 6, 7 times until I'm like, oh, that's what they've been trying to tell me. You know, it's just like, okay. And I'll get it better than I would in a conversation. But like I said, music affects my moods. It does. So you could make a mood, you could break a mood. But then there's also like the other things. I mean, you know, I have the intro, I have the outro. Winning did both of those, but the intro he basically like did from scratch. I mean, he did it with, you know, a program, but it was all him. And I mean, he put things in there that were just about me. And the first time like he played it, I was like, well, hell, why don't you just light my whole lap on fire? I mean, because that is some panty melting shit, let me tell you. Oh my goodness, girls, back me up. If a dude like writes or say, even if he just hums you a song, you're just like, you want to be unaffected. You're like, yeah, that's not. And meanwhile, you're like, somebody, you know, there's a spill on aisle 6, like, because you know you're sitting in a puddle. You know you are. You're just like, oh my God, like you're on fire. It's terrible. It's terrible. That's a button I hate to get pushed because it's just like, now what am I going to do with it? Talk to you in like 15 minutes. I got to go for a minute. There's things I need to do. But yeah, no, that, guys, you write a girl like a song or anything, even just like fooling around. That is some panty melting, panty dropping shit right there. Judge Maddie would definitely back me up if he was still here because he knows the effect that music can have on people. I'm sure of it. And it's just, it's like, stop. Darth Hideous can't imagine. Wolfram starts mopping the floor. I mean, really, like throw a tarp down because bitch is ready. But I'm trying to think of like other things. Like Reba, I like her older songs a lot more than her songs now. I don't know. I feel like she sold out. She used to tell stories. And now it's just like, meh. I mean, Consider Me Gone. That's a really good one. I do like that one. I'm a Survivor from her show, but that's 20 years old. Yeah, I think of music as, oh, this just came out. And then I find out it's like a 30-year-old song that I've been listening for 30 years. And, you know, it's like, no, like that only came out there. Do any of you see pictures of like rock stars from our era? And you're like, damn, like you, like the drugs and alcohol and, you know, it looked like a good idea at the time. Like, but wow, did you age? Like, oh my goodness, time was not gentle with you at all. Wolf Kinder, what's up? Let's see. I'm going through like all these different things. I do like Martina McBride, but again, her stuff from like 20 years ago, not her stuff. I don't even know if she has any recent stuff. I haven't heard anything from her. Pretty much my cutoff is like 20 years. Everything after that is just hit or miss here and there. There's like, 24 songs that I really like from the last like 20 years. And then you go back beyond the 20 years and it's just like thousands of songs, just thousands of them. And it's just like, oh yeah. And I was playing, there was a video on YouTube. Whoever did it decided to do little like excerpts from songs, just real quick, you know, clips of videos. And they did the popular song for every month. That was, I think it was every month or every week or whatever, from January like 1980 and on. And oh my God, Axl Rose came to mind. Poor guy. I know. Look, the dude from Warrant isn't looking that great either. What the hell was his name? He had a weird name. But like Bon Jovi looks good, but he has the money to still look good. You're not going to tell me he hasn't had some kind of plastic surgery. Fuck that. Same thing with Richie Sambora. Like these were some hard partying motherfuckers. Like there's no way they look the way they look naturally. There's no. Bruce Springsteen, yeah, that's the way you look. Like that man, I don't know what happened, but he was like young, old. There was no middle age for him. It was just tight skin, and then just friggin' melted Gumby. Like it was terrible. He just all of a sudden he just went, bleh, and it was like, oh well, I guess Patty isn't doing it for you anymore. But oh Lord, he just aged badly. I think he like woke up one day and he was just old. It was terrible. But like Mick Jagger, I'm sorry, to me, Mick Jagger still looks as old as he ever looked. He always looked old, but he was sexy because of his personality, because of his attitude. I didn't even like the way he danced. Like he would dance on stage and I'm like, he looks like he's having like upward epilepsy. Like, cause he always looked like, hey, like somebody was like shocking him or whatever. Tina Turner, I liked watching her dance. I loved watching her dance on stage. Those legs, dear God. The muscles in her legs. Holy shit. But like, I remember the first time I watched Proud Mary. I watched her perform Proud Mary. And you see all of them. Yeah, R.I.P. Tina Turner. But oh my goodness. Like the way they were, and it wasn't a huge choreography. They were just moving together, but you wanted to do that dance. They were so much better at that shit than like Beyonce and all them. Like they're literally riding the coattails of what Tina Turner set out and did. You know, she was up there like, hey, look at me, shaking her shit. It was great. Wolfkinder, there's a horse saying, Tennessee Ernie Ford said it. They were rode hard and put away wet. See, she said, and I know you'll run with that. I mean, we use that saying too, but not for old age. You look like you were rode hard and put away wet goes along with the whole, you look like who did it and ran. Like it's the same thing. I used to say that saying all the time and didn't equate it with what it actually means until the first time I felt like who did it and ran. And I was like, oh, I get it now. I was like, I get it. That's not a great look, but yeah. Rode hard and put away wet. I mean, don't we all want to be? You might think of that as a bad thing, but I mean, for me, that's the goal. Shit. Let's not get it twisted. I'm still me. I'm looking at different things. Like I'm looking at this list that I made of songs, not songs, but like what I was listening to this morning and what I like to listen to. Who else out there? Like, do you have an evolution of when you're listening to music? Like you're in one mood and you start with one song and that song sparks something else. And then so you got to listen to that song and then you're like, oh, this, and then you go to this other artist and then you go to this other song and you're listening to like a million different genres, but each one is like, oh, I got to, and sometimes you're like, oh, I got to remember, I want to listen to this. And then you forget because something else, like another song popped in there in the meantime. I do that all the time. I have to write down the songs I want to listen to because I'll forget. And usually there's like a pattern to what this leads into this. And this one reminds me of this. And this one's going to lead to this. Like this one, what did I listen to? I was listening to the Beaches thing. Then I was listening to Raining on Prom Night. That for some reason led me to Elvis, which I started with I Can't Help Falling in Love with You. And then I was like, no, I need to like snap out of this. So like, because it was bringing me down and I was just like, I was getting all sentimental. I was like, no, it's way too fucking early in the morning to be sentimental. So I was like, all right, Elvis. I put on my song, which I always sing about me, called Trouble. Yeah, if you're looking for trouble, you came to the right place. You're looking for trouble, look right in my face. I was born standing up and talking back. My daddy was a green-eyed mountain jack. It's like, like that. That's my song. And then that led to Jailhouse Rock. You ever listen to Jailhouse Rock? I mean, seriously, did you ever listen to the lyrics? It's a little fucked up. A little bit. I'm going to pull it up now. Wait. There's certain parts that I was like, hey, Jailhouse. Same thing with Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Oh my goodness. The lyrics. I can't. Let's see. So Jailhouse Rock. Number 47 said to number 3. Mind you, this is jail, so they're all men. Number 47 said to number 3, you're the cutest jailbird I ever did see. I sure would be delighted with your company. Come on and do the Jailhouse Rock with me. What? I was like, wait a minute, they're two dudes. Like, what? I was like, oh, damn. Like he said, hey, what you doing? Like, come over here. Come on. It's all right. You could be the girl tonight. Like, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Then there's another part of it. Stansack was sitting on a block of stone, way over in the corner, weeping all alone. The warden said, hey, buddy, don't you be no square. If you can't find a partner, again, all men, use a wooden chair. He's like, pick up the chair, dance with the chair. Shut up. Like, stop being a little bitch. Stop sitting there just crying or whatever. I was like, damn. But wait, I gotta look up Shake, Rattle, and Roll. Get out from the kitchen and rattle those pots and pans. Get out from the kitchen, rattle those pots and pans. Roll my breakfast because I'm a hungry man. Wait, where is it? There's a part of it. Is it shit? Yeah, it should be. Where the hell is it? I'm like a one-eyed cat peeping in a seafood store. I'm like a one-eyed cat peeping in a seafood store. I can look at you till you just don't love me no more. Like, but there's certain things there's things about fingers and whatever. Like, it's just weird. It is fucking weird. All these songs, they all have like really like debased freaking lyrics that you're just like, you're singing it. You don't know. You're just going with it. Shake, Round, Roll plays during the credits of the movie Clue. My favorite. Aw, I'm just the one-eyed cat peeping in a seafood store. I could look at you till you ain't no child no more. That's the actual lyric. I don't know why this person wrote till you don't love me no more. That's not the lyric. That's why I was like, wait a minute, this don't jive with what I know. It's I'll look at you till you ain't no child no more. There's just all sorts of stuff out there like that. But again, like with the Gloria Gaynor. Now, Gloria Gaynor lets all these different things. And then, of course, I was like, oh, Gloria. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to tell them because they friggin' made me pull out the Gloria Gaynor so that I was like, first I was afraid. Like there was a whole like vibe going on. So I could like, really pump myself up. And then I was like, Gloria. And the word Gloria wouldn't get out of my head. And I was like, what, brain? What do you want? Oh, well, it wanted Gloria by Laura Branigan from Flashdance. Gloria, that one. And I was just like, oh, I was like, all right. So that led to, other Laura Branigan songs. There's Spanish Eddie, which once I get in my head, I can't get it out. So then I had to like switch and I went to the Pretenders and then Tom Petty and then like Pat Benatar. Of course, Pat Benatar was like Love is a Battlefield and I Am the Warrior and stuff like that. And then I went on to Disco Duck. I don't know why my brain did it. I went from We Are the Warriors and I Am the Warrior and all that shit right into freaking Disco Duck. I was like, why? It's not even like the same decade. Like one of them is a novelty. It's a novelty song. Nope. That's where my brain went. Like I can't. And I just went, and my son came out. He was like, "What are you singing now?" Because I was not quiet this morning. I put one earbud in because usually I put both earbuds in and I just sing it in my head and I just, like mouth along to it. No, I felt like singing. So I put the one earbud. So he can't hear the music, but he hears me singing. And he came out and he was just like, "Really?" I was like, "What?" He was like, "So far, you've talked about love, you talked about sex, you talked about a car." I was like, "What car?" He was like, "Get out of my dream." I was like, "Oh my God, I forgot I listened to I listened to that song. Get out of my dreams, get into my car. It was like, oh my goodness. Oh yeah, no, the silly songs always find a way in there, Wolfkinder, always. Cause it's disco duck. Nice to see y'all, mama. Like, shake your tail feathers. Like, I love that song. It makes me giggle. It really does. Billy Ocean, thank you, winning. For some reason, I was going to say Billy Crystal, and I know that's not it because he looks marvelous, but he doesn't sing well. So I couldn't think of the fucking name. But thank you, honey. So yeah, so it was that one, and of course that led to Little Red Corvette by Prince. So it's like, so I mean, I went down that rabbit hole. I was literally like, I should have hit shuffle, but it never makes me happy to hit shuffle on my player. So I was like, I'm looking for all these different songs, and I have so many playlists. Like I have mood playlists on my little iPod that I shove it in my bra and I listen to it because I want to walk around and do whatever with it. So many playlists. There's the moody playlist. There's the, just heartbreak playlist. There's the I need to be in a better mood playlist. There's the random playlist of just new shit that I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to like this. And then I wind up listening to them 100 times. One of the songs I love that I really didn't think I was going to love is a Johnny Depp song. It's This Is For You, Miss Hedy Lamarr. I love that song. And if you don't listen to the lyrics, it wouldn't you'd be like, man, it's all right. But if you listen to those lyrics and you think about when that came out and like what he was going through, there's so much that he's saying in that song. Because he's like, I don't believe, I can't believe, I won't believe in humans anymore. Because he was so betrayed by people turning on him. And it was like a huge thing. And he talked about this like amazing Hedy Lamarr, that she was beautiful and, Hollywood created her whole image and then they destroyed her with it. And she was this beautiful, like forward thinking person. She was responsible for, originating Wi-Fi. Like she actually like came up with the whole premise of it. And then the government was like, no, that's stupid. You're a woman. Shut up. Go sit down. And then during the war, they were like, hey, we just dove into the patent section and look what we found. We're not going to give her credit, but we're going to use this. And then they built upon that to get what we have now today is Wi-Fi. And nobody knows that. Like he did a whole friggin' interview where he talked about like her accomplishments and everything. But in this song, he says, you were beautiful. They made you into this thing. Then they destroyed you. You were destroyed by the very thing that created you for their benefit because they fucking felt like it because they could. And he was like, it's horrible what they did to her. And he felt the same way. They built him up and they made this image and then they used it all against him and tried to destroy him with it. So he related and he made it into a song. And he talked about, I don't believe in humans anymore. And that when he says it, especially the second time he says it, and he's like, not anymore. Like he repeats the not anymore just out of nowhere. And I feel that because it's like you say something and then you're just like, yeah, no, like I can't. Cause you feel it's so overwhelming that you have to like keep saying it. And that's what I get from that. And then at the end, he's like, don't sit down if you're not invited. And I feel like that was like right at her. Like nobody asked your ass to come here. Nobody asked you to be a part of this. Like, go your own freaking way. Like, you're not welcome here, so don't sit down. And it's just such a good song. Get in the backseat, get in the backseat, baby. Yeah, I know. It's funny because I am so, you would know it. I'm so insecure about singing anything, and I sing 24/7. Like, that's all I do. That's all I've ever done. Because there's so much music in my head. When there's any silence, it's like literally my brain is the radio. I have to have like all that background noise, and I wind up singing it every single time. And I'm usually very insecure about it. I'm like, oh, it's not great. Well, let me tell you something. After watching that crazy bitch like go nutty on her channel and like all the singing she's doing, I'm sitting there going, yeah, no, my voice is fine. I'm like, I'll sing any goddamn time I want. Because at least, this bitch couldn't hold a tune in a bucket. It was bad. It was so bad. Very entertaining, but so bad. So bad. And she's like, and she's thinking she's rocking it out and she's just nailing this. And I'm like, wow, I've heard mating cat sound better. It's terrible. Terrible, screechy, and just off key and off beat, which really pisses me off. And it's just like, it's like you're not even like, come on, at least just match the music. God damn it. Like, it drives me crazy. It's like, for me, it's like nails down a chalkboard. It really is. It's like somebody's taken sandpaper to all of my skin because I'm just like, it's so bad. Like that will literally chafe my nerves. Wolfkinder. I was watching a friend's kids and they asked to put the radio on in the car because mom wouldn't let them. Oh my God. Next thing I know, there's a preteen girl singing Me Love You Long Time. The moment I felt I'm sorry, but there's parts of songs from our generation that our kids are embarrassed that we sing. Like Baby Got Back, when he's going through the whole thing and he's like, a lot of Sims won't like this song. I'd rather hit and quit it and I'd rather stay and play, but I'm long and I'm strong and I'm down to get the friction on. And he goes through the whole thing. And eventually you have like girls like saying stuff. But the part where she goes, me so horny. We all know where that came from. And you stop whatever you're doing, even if you're not singing the song out loud, you stop and you do that part out loud. Fuck that. You'll be like, me so horny. And they're like, what? It's the worst thing to blurt out. You do it. Don't lie to me either. Because if you're making me think like I'm the only one that do it, fuck that. I'm the only one that does it. English is not my friend today. But I know y'all have done that. There's that line. Again, like the Humpty Dance. There's no, like, I've sang that in the car and my daughter was like, oh, what are you singing? She's like, what's 69? None of your business. Go back to singing like the Wheels on the Bus or something. Go back to singing I Love You, You Love Me with that fucking purple gay dinosaur. Like, just leave my music alone. My son gets it though. I can't slip nothing past this child. He's like, I know what that means. Shut up. No, you don't. You don't know what that means because I refuse to admit that he's 17. To be fair, at 10 years old, he was like, that's got to be a sex thing because you don't want me to know about it. Yep. The Scotsman by Brian Bowers. I don't know that one. Oh my goodness. What song is that? The Scotsman. By Brian Bowers. Seamus Kennedy. What is this? You can't listen to it, but I can. Oh, he's got like the Irish music. Oh yeah. I'm gonna save that for later because that looks funny as hell. All I had to hear was kilt. I was like, yep, I'm in. I want to hear it. All right, so I saved it to my bookmarks. That is fucking fabulous. He did his Wolfkinder. Clue is fantastic. It was a good movie. highly underrated. That was a cult classic, though. It was. We had good movies too. I mean, come on. There's certain movies nobody liked that we all friggin' love. We made them pop. Critics were like, "This movie sucks." You know, like Siskel and Ebert would give it 2 thumbs down each, and you're like, "Fuck that! You don't know a good movie if it bit you in the ass." But that's how I was with music. If somebody was like, "Oh my god, you got to hear this song! It's fabulous! It's fabulous! It's phenomenal!" Good thing we're not in France. They'd start singing. Because apparently they sing a certain song or make a certain noise when you say the word phenomenal. Because every time, like, who's the phenomenal wrestler? Is that AJ Styles? No. LA Knight, AJ Styles, Drew McIntyre? I forget which one. But whenever they like do that one, the crowd has to like respond a certain way. It's so weird. We had great movies growing up. We really did. We really did. They didn't shy away from any topic. Any topic. There were movies that were gut wrenching. What I think it was it called Sneakers? With like Kevin Bacon playing like a guard at a juvenile detention thing, and he molested all these kids or whatever. And the kids like went to jail because they were fucking around with a hot dog vendor's cart and they lost control of it and it went down the subway stairs and crushed somebody. And so they went to jail for it, like juvie jail. And there's like, it's a great cast, but I mean, that movie was like, like, you know, even Steel Magnolias, the whole watching her, like when she's like brain dead and Sally Field is, you know, AJ, I forgot what we were talking about. I'm pretty sure I forgot what we were talking about. See, when it came up with it, and I can't remember what it was in reference to. Whatever. He's right, whatever it is. But yeah, there were some movies that were just gut wrenching. Watching Sally Field like do the exercises when Julia Roberts, her daughter, is like in a coma and everything. That was gut wrenching. That was just like, oh my God. And then at the funeral, like, she's like, I could run to Texas and back, but my daughter can't. She never could. And I'm just sitting there just bawling. I can't watch that movie. I can't. It's way too triggery for me. Like, it's so emotional. It's like, I still quote the movie all the time. I'm like, I love you more than my luggage. If you haven't seen Steel Magnolias, you don't know where the hell I got that from. Like, Dolly Parton says, you'll realize time marches on and eventually you'll see it's marching across your face. Like, it's true. But full of gems. That whole movie is full of gems. But dear God, the emotion. And we had songs like that too. There were songs that you just like got down in it. And they would just hit you and you'd sit there. Y'all know what I'm talking about. We would listen to a song sometimes, turn the radio off. That's how you knew it was like an impactful, because you didn't want to hear what was coming next. You just turned it off and you just sat there. And you just contemplated the whole song. And if you were with friends and this was the first time like you guys heard it or whatever, you would sit there and just talk about it. It could be an hour-long discussion, be a 2-minute discussion. It could be an all-night freaking discussion. It could be, oh my God, we listened to this and this is how it made me feel. Oh my God, what other songs make you like, you know what it reminds me of? And then you go down that list and you have to play them all. See, the new generations, they have this thing with, they just click a button and boop, the music plays. They don't know what it is to sit in a room with like, anywhere from 3 to 6 of your friends, drinking beer, smoking, getting a little toasted, and having to take the records or the cassettes out one after the other and search for the song. Be like, wait, I know it's on this album. Well, okay, it's like, all right, so let me put this. And it's hard to play a record when you're fucked up because that needle, you hear that, like you're like, oh, like somebody else do the record player. Shelly's toasted. Like she can't do it. Like somebody else worked the arm, but they don't know what it is to wake up and see like albums everywhere on the floor, on top of the TV, on top of the stereo, just piles and piles of album covers and like records. Cause then you had to go and you had to search and put everything back. If you were too fucked up to put it back in the sleeve, or God forbid, I had friends who would just throw the record back into the cardboard sleeve and I'd be like, there's paper in there. So you're just scratching my record. Like, what is wrong with you? They didn't get it. They were like, oh no, it's fine. No, it's not. Because now when I go to play it, I'm gonna hit the and it's like it's gonna skip on my favorite parts. I know it. And it always happened like that. But these kids don't know that struggle. They don't know what a mess you could make having a really good night of just music. Because let's face it, like they're pushing a button. They don't care. Everything is nice and neat and contained in one little thing. No, they don't know what it is to, don't bump into it. If you're dancing, you can't dance too hard because if everybody's dancing, the floor is going to shake and the record's going to skip. They don't know what that is. They have no idea. And it's just like, you guys don't know what struggle really is. But yeah, who didn't do that? Like you'd look around your room after like, especially if you like went through a breakup or whatever, and you're sitting there like just playing all the songs that, you could think of. And you'll have like 50 freaking records just scattered around your room. And you're looking like, well, I'm depressed and I really don't feel like cleaning this shit. Like it was more depressing that you had to clean up the records than the fact you just broke up with your man or with your girl or whatever. Making a mixtape was the epitome of like, oh my God, I'm so into you. Like if a guy didn't make me a mixtape, I knew he was not serious. I knew there was like nothing. And then even with the CDs, I made you a mixtape and it written on the CD, it would say mixtape. I don't like, we can't let go of things. You just can't. You're like, no, I wanted to make a mixtape. I made a mixtape. It's a CD. I'm like, okay. It's just not the same. You could throw things together and whatever. I don't know. I'm still of that generation where I'll take little excerpts from songs and I'll put them all together and be like, here, this is how I feel. I don't want to say it because that would mean I have feelings. Fuck you. Like, here you go. Because I'm still a nerd and I'm not going to say like, I'm not going to do the adult thing and just communicate because who has time for that? But here's like 8 songs that I want you to sit down and listen to. But I mean, I'm expressive with my emotions now. Taping a penny to the arm of the record player so that it wouldn't skip? Absolutely. And if it was a really, really bad one, you had to use a quarter. That's how you knew the severity of how badly somebody's record was fucked up, by the coinage that they had taped to the arm of the record player. If it was a penny, it wasn't too bad. If you had a quarter up on there, you were like, oh, you've listened to this one a lot. Like, I think it's time for you to get a new radio, like get a new record or get a new freaking needle. And where would we get them? We'd have to send away to Amazon now to go get even a needle. Before, you just ran up to Radio Shack. They always had them. They always had them. Did anyone's parents have a stereo cabinet growing up? My mom played hers all the time, and you could also play an 8-track. Winning and I were talking about that the other day. Who else had the stereo cabinet that was all glass front? And it had like the magnet that closed it. So you had to like push it to open it or push it to close it. And there was always that, because they had that little plastic rectangle where the magnet was. The rest is glass. The hinges are metal. You're literally asking for a catastrophe. And you'd go to close it and your mother or your father would be like, be careful closing that. That's glass. You'd like, if you tried to like close it and you were in a mood, you close it a little too hard. You're just like, please don't break. You begged every god you've ever thought of that could ever exist just in case. Please don't break. Please don't break. Please don't break. But our stereos were also like, what? There was the cassette player part. There was on top, there was a record player. Under that was usually the cassette deck. If if you had a really thorough one, you'd have the 8-track that was underneath, but that eventually went the way of the dodo. You had the tuner part, and then you had the radio part. So you had like several components, and they all came like separately. You bought them together, but they were all on separate shelves. Unless you were really fancy and you had the ones with the round feet that you could just stack on top of one another. And then later on, when they got rid of the 8-track and it was just the double cassette, which was always like, oh my God. You had the double cassette, you had the radio, you had the tuner part, and you had the record player all connected, but they were still like, it was one big block of radio. It was like a 1.5 feet high, 2 feet high, maybe, 1.5 feet wide. It was huge. And then they came out with CDs. I don't know what y'all thought when they came out with CDs, but I was like, I don't want to have to buy all these albums again. I have like 400 albums. I can spend all this money again. Thank you, Columbia House. Good Lord. Who else screwed Columbia House out of tons and tons of money? Not this girl. Nope. Not me. Not never. Nope. I never found out that if you just change, like one part of your name, you get a whole new membership. So you get like 15 CDs for a penny and pay one regular price, which was like $14. Columbia House. You'd have that shit sent to the neighbor. You'd be like, oh my God, I don't know. I think I put the wrong apartment number. That's how I built my freaking music library. I couldn't afford all that music. Get the hell out of here. And if you had Columbia House music, I guarantee you had Columbia House video. Not the DVD, the video, the VHS. And that box was huge. How excited were you to come home from school and your mom be like, you got a package. What's Columbia House? Oh my God. Right here. Nope. No, you never did it. You lie. How else would you do it? And they would try. Oh, bless their hearts. They would try. Well, I mean, I also needed the VHS, and my mother was not going to buy those. So, by hook or by crook. But it was mostly the music, I will admit. I think I had like 3 or 4 subscriptions for the movies, but the music I had, oh God, I had so many. So many. It's terrible. And bless their heart, they would send you the bill and you just laugh. You're obligated to buy 4 more at regular price by this day. I'm like, yeah, all right, you wait for that. You go ahead. And then if you didn't answer them, they would send you incentives. Well, if you buy this, you'll get this many more free. I'm like, all right, well, what's the cheapest one I can get that qualifies for it? There you go. That's a $7.99. Yeah, I'll buy that one. Why not? And then all these, like, you can just send them. They never said, oh no, this. I didn't understand how they made money. Because they're giving you, like, there was no limit to the stuff. So, like, I got anthologies for nothing. Like, so you're just like, yeah, you want me to buy this one, like, $7 CD? Okay, I'll buy that. And you're giving me this anthology, this, like 4-disc greatest hits, whatever. They trick you into buying whatever they send you monthly. Oh no, they had that number on there that you can call up and say, I don't want that one. I was quick to call that number as soon as that was part of my thing. I got caught once getting a damn CD that I didn't want that cost me like $16. So no, I was quick. Like every time it came, the first thing I did was call that number and be like, no, put in my little numbers and da-da-da. Because everything was like touch tone. Like you just press the button and whatever. You didn't even have to speak to a person. It was great. But yeah, no, that was, oh God, that was such a racket. I don't even know. Like, when did they go out of business? They had to be like extremely bankrupt. Because Lord. And they could send you bills forever. It's not like they had your credit card information or whatever. You sent them a check. I mean, you remember when we used to send checks in the mail or send the money order or whatever? Like, I didn't give anybody credit card. Who the hell had a credit card? They trick into my, yeah, good to see. Hey, Puffer, what's up? You're my earworm for my shopping trip today. Happy camper. Aw, that's awesome. Well, we were just talking about music and like all the things that we went through to get it. Like when we had to switch over from, now you have to understand Gen X, we went through it. We went from radio to record to 8-track to cassette to CD to MP3, because we had all those little like weird MP3 players that only held like 6 songs when they first came out, to just music is just there now. It's in the cloud, it's in the air, it's on the streaming, it's whatever. Like, we did not have music at the push of one little button. You had to go out and get your music. You know, you had to send away for it, or you had to like sit there and put hours into listening to a damn DJ who sucked trying to like record it off the radio, or you had to go to like Sam Goody. You had to go like that was the go-to, was Sam Goody. But like, you know, you'd see them in like Kmart or whatever, but nobody bought their music in Kmart. It was like, ugh, like it was the same music. And it was just like, no, I'm not buying that. I got it in Sam Goody. It had to have like the sticker and shit. I had people who wouldn't even take the plastic off their records. They would literally just use a like box cutter to just open the slit at the end and like take the record out. And it had to be like the plastic had to be perfect, and the paper like jacket had to be perfect. It was just weird. I was never that bad about it, but close. You had to record the radio. Yeah, we had to record the radio. And it would be messed up if they decided suddenly, like, you had a DJ who was like, oh, I'm going to remix this. No, that's not what I want. Not what I want. Or they would make a song and put like lyrics in it from like the movie that it was in. But the record company wouldn't release that version as their version. They kept like the original, and it just, you were like, no, I like the radio's version better. Secret Garden from Jerry Maguire. Now, it's a Bruce Springsteen song. It's not a bad song. You know, it's all right. But when they took the lines out of the movie and made the song with the movie lines in it, said by the actors like Renee Zellweger, Tom Cruise, the kid, it changed the whole song. And everybody that I knew loved that version. You couldn't find that version. You literally had to record it off the radio or you couldn't get it. And then if that cassette went, you know, like you had to mark down on that cassette, like, okay, this song, the Jerry Maguire song is on this one. Because otherwise you'd go through like 19 friggin' cassettes going, I know it's on this son of a bitch somewhere. I recorded this one. I didn't put the goddamn, like, the things down. It's like, and then you try to recycle the tapes. They don't know about that either, that you have to re-record over. So you'll have like this whole song, then you have like a half a second of whatever was there before because you went ahead a little bit. Now you have a new song. You're just like, oh, but so then when you hear the song later on, you've heard it so many times, followed by a certain song or a certain like clip. That's what you hear every time you hear the song. So that song will send you into another song. Because they used to have like rotas on the radio. They played a very specific pattern, and you got used to that pattern, so that when you got older and you hear the song, the next song that you hear is whatever you heard back then. And you're expecting it. You're like, they didn't play it. Like, why was that not playing on my, because it's your music, stupid. My playlists actually have like certain things that they have to follow one another. Otherwise I feel all off kilter. It's weird. I know. We got good and only missed like 10 seconds from the beginning of the song. That was quality. You missed 10 seconds if you had to run across the room, set it up. If you had it already set up, and you know what I'm talking about, you didn't want to have to press the play and record because that was just half a second too much. So you pressed record and pause, and you just waited to just click the unpause so that you could kick it on right away. And then you're just like, and then you're like, oh my God, I got the whole thing. And the damn DJ would come on like 5 seconds before it ended and just fuck up your whole song. Because be like, yeah, that was, I'm like, the song's not over. Shut up. God damn it. But we used to call in. They don't, do they even do that anymore? You call in, you get a busy signal, busy signal. You could spend like 4 hours trying to call in, trying to win tickets, trying to get like, oh, could you play this for my kid, you know, for my girl or whatever. Like that was the huge thing. Oh, did you hear tonight? I dedicated a song to you. It's like, And then at night, hey, cool gamer, what's up? What should we call it? Like late at night, you'd have like Dr. Ruth Westheimer. You'd have her show on, or you'd have the Love Talks. And it was just like you didn't want your parents to ever hear you listen to this shit. Because it was love advice, it was sex advice, and you're just like, oh, that's how I got my sexual education, because we didn't talk about that stuff in my house. So I would listen to that real quiet. And if I giggle, she'd be like, what's so funny? Nothing. Nothing. What are you doing? I'm just listening to the radio. 11:30 at night. No. It was like Dr. Laura After Dark and shit like that. It was hilarious. And they were very, very specific. Like those ladies got graphic on those things. It was like, wow. They would never get away with that now. Did I say hi, cool gamer? Hi, cool gamer. Do you realize kids born after 2025 will be Gen Beta? I hope not. I feel like the generation born like that's grown up now are Gen Betas. I know they call them alphas, but I mean they had to have named them that tongue in cheek. They really did. There's no way. I haven't met an alpha like in the longest time that's under like 45. I don't take that wrong. I mean, under 25. Under 25. We'll go with under 25. Ooh. Keep it on pause. Absolutely. That's how you do it. Otherwise, you lose the whole beginning. There are some songs that I never knew the beginning to because I could never catch the beginning. And then I'd listen to the cassette. So I would just forget that it had a whole other like. So when it starts, you're like, was this always part of the song? I don't remember this part. It's so funny though, because I like what's her name? The Real Slim Sherry. It's a YouTuber. She's Gen X. She's very like, I mean, this is like my spirit animal. I would be such good friends with this woman because she don't take shit from nobody. She's like, oh, you want to know what we're doing, you little motherfuckers? Like, we're the generation that our parents are like, get the fuck out, go take care of yourself. Like, we learned how to climb trees, how to make a fire, how to, we went and poked things with sticks. Like, she goes on and on. She's very like, y'all said I cursed too much and I'm going to really try really hard not to curse. No, fuck that. This is me. Da, da, da. And I'm like, yeah, that's my girl. I love her. The other day, she was talking about like music and all this stuff. And oh my God, it totally went out of my head. What did she say? She was talking about music and she was talking about, how like we really we embrace our music and stuff like that. But there was something. Oh, I got to think of it. God damn it. It was right in my brain. And now it's gone. See, and I know it has to do with her. If you haven't checked her out, check her out. She's so funny. So funny. And so down to earth. There's another dude that I love watching the shorts. He does Gen X stuff. And he talks about how we're aging backwards. He's like, you notice like he wears a t-shirt that says 45 is the oldest I'll look or something. And as young, like 45 is as young as I'll ever get and the oldest I'll ever look or whatever, or reversed. But he's like, we are perpetually stuck at like 45. And not like our parents' 45. Our 45, which is very different. Because we've been through everything. Like these people, they're running around. Oh my God, it's everything. The sky is falling. It's a chicken without a head, whatever. And we're just like, yeah, we've been through this. We've been through the drills. Yeah, we've been through, the terror plots. We've been through the bombings. We've been through, riots in the streets. We've actual riots, not like manufactured one, like actual people from our towns rioting. Like we've been through all that crap and we're like, yeah, what else you got? Like, what else you got? Bothers us, but it's like, yeah. P Digits gotta run. Thanks for taking me down memory road, Shelly and chat. Everyone have a safe weekend. Happy Mother's Day. That's right. It's Mother's Day this weekend on Sunday. Oh, crap. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much, P, for being here. I appreciate you. I do. Anytime you want to go down memory lane, that's what we do a lot of the time. Because let's face it, things were just better then. It might have been harder. We didn't have a lot of technology or whatever, but what we had, we made the most of and we had fun with it. We made memories. They don't do that anymore. Now things are over so quick, they don't remember any of it. They just run right through. We have there's pivotal moments in our lives, not like one or two or three. You literally could go just memory after memory after memory. And they're like, how do you remember this shit? Because we embraced everything. It wasn't all doom and gloom and whatever. It was like, all right, all this bad shit is going on, but I got homework, I got a job, I want to get the car, I want to go on a date, I want to do this, I want to do that. It was like, yeah, all this stuff is going on, but I can't let it stop me. Where now they lock themselves up and they're like, oh my God, I can't face it. No, we faced everything. And you had to do it with a certain kind of attitude. It was like, all right, we could take anything. And they're like, oh, you guys, you messed up. We didn't mess up shit. We are literally the generation that raised itself from little kids. We didn't have any safety measures. None. I remember when seatbelts came out. I was a teenager. That was not a law. Then it was like, buckle up. It's the law. My father's like, just if you see the cop, if I get pulled over, put the seatbelt on. Okay. Because they knew. Nobody wanted to wear that shit. Things were just better. And the music. God, Joan Jett, Tom Petty, Meatloaf. Trying to think what else. We had the house music. For me, it's Girl, I'll House You and stuff like that. There was for reggae, it was Murder, She Wrote. Murder, She Wrote. I know I got that tune wrong, but whatever. I haven't heard it in many, many years. So don't fry me over it. But we had the Pretenders, I'll Stand By You. That was the anthem. If you really were into somebody and you sang that to them, that's it. You were their ride or die. That's what you were saying. You were like, this is it. I will be by you through all your schizophrenic, alcoholic bullshit. It's fine. You didn't care. But I mean, we didn't really, I don't know, we took things so serious and yet there was always that humorous twist to everything. I think that's why so many of us have this weird mocking kind of dark humor. And we offend people so badly. I've been in conversations, especially in the last year, where they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that you said that to somebody. And I'm like, no, they didn't mean that. You're taking it wrong. Why are you taking it so they were just joking. This is what this means. I feel like I'm the 80s, 90s interpreter. Because I'm like, no. This is not supposed to be offensive. It's just fucking funny. Lighten the fuck up. And it's weird because from somebody my age, I know how to take it as a joke. Sometimes it hits a little too close to home and I'm like, ow, but I give them the reaction they're looking for. At least at face value. But the younger kids, I'll say something. They're like, oh my God, that was really offensive. I'm like, really? Was it? I was kidding. They're like, that did not sound like you were kidding. I'm like, all right. I don't talk thinking about your fucking feelings. I really don't. If we're friends, whatever comes out of my mouth, you get to deal with. Good luck for you. Be happy. Because most of it is positive. But occasionally my humor takes a darkish kind of biting turn. Yes. Listen, if the joke is there, I'm going to take it. I am not going to let that kind of opportunity pass me by. I'm just not. Dead baby joke. I mean, dear God, these kids don't know the terror of train spotting. All you got to say is dead baby on a ceiling, and it's like, like we all know that feeling. You all know how creepy that was, and yet you'll watch it again, like because you're just like, oh my God, it's the most terrifying thing. It's disturbing. Rewind it, like go back, go back. Did that baby just whatever? Yeah, no, it's. We make all the jokes. I mean, come on. Dark humor. I mean, if you can't joke about it, we are the originators of what? Too soon? Because if there's a line, we're going to step over it every time. Every time. I told you when Tommy went to jail and everything because he threw the girl in the river, he was like, we're going to get married. I was like, oh, we're going to live together as long as it's not on the water. And he was like, really? I was like, what, too soon? And he was just like, I can't believe you said that. I was like, why? It's a very me thing to say. Like, he was like, you say mean thing? No, me thing, mean thing. They sound alike. I guess they're synonymous. But it's like, it wasn't meant to be mean. It was fucking funny. It was funny. He saw the humor in it. He just chose to be all about it. But that's one of the things I was saying. Like, I don't get how they're calling this generation coming up right now the alphas. Really? These are the alpha generation? They don't even know what freaking sex they are. Like, look down. That'll tell you. What were you born as? That's what you are. We didn't get the choice growing up to change everything about ourselves. What about all those kids out there with fucked up names? They were like, oh, I'm going to change my name when I'm older. Then you find out it costs like $200-$300. They're like, fuck that. I'll keep it. I purposely kept my ex-husband's name in the divorce. They were like, oh, you still, you want to be no, it's just easier to pronounce than my maiden name. And I don't want to have to redo the credit cards and the driver's license and get another, get all these different like new licenses or whatever. I have to change my name. My whole life was under this name now, my whole adult life. Why would I change it? My mother's like, oh, you don't want to go back to your maiden name? No. She's like, what are you going to do? Go your whole life? Well, if I ever get remarried, I'll take his name. So, oh, you'll just take, yeah, why not? Like, why wouldn't I take his name? Like, what is wrong with you? Apparently there's a lot of chicks who do not take their husband's last name. And I mean, that's your choice, but to me, it's ridiculous. Like, if you're going to become one family, why would you want to have one last name? Changing names is a wench. It really is. That's why I kept his. But mine was, I had a very Italian last name that people would pronounce in a Spanish way, which really pissed me off. And so it was just a pain in my ass. It was my father's name. I didn't want it. Daddy had always said he was going to adopt me, and my father wouldn't let him. And then by the time he got to the point where he could, he died and couldn't do it because he wasn't here anymore. So even his name, it was just as long. I mean, I'm talking about 10 letters or better. My last name is always long. I can't have Smith or Doe or whatever. God forbid I have a short name, but it's usually long. But this one was really, my maiden name was really Italian, and I couldn't wait to get rid of it. And so my ex-husband's last name was Peterson, and I was like, oh, it's perfect. The only thing I ever have to say to some people is Peterson with an O. That's all, because they're like, with the O or an E. I'm like, have you met many Petersons? I didn't say Peterson. I said Peterson. And they're like, it's the same. No, it's not. Oh, I mean, do I have to do my Italian vowel? Ooh, 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 ah, 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 eh, 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 e, e, e. That's how I learned them. Eh, e, ah, oh, ooh. That's how my great grandmother taught me. It's eh, e, ah, oh, ooh. It was like not A-E-I-O-U, E-I-O-U. Okay, Graham. Mama Nell was funny. She was always funny. Micalina, tuta na vo. She's like, all at once. I just want to just strangle you. I'm like, thanks. It's to twist your neck. So it's just like to basically choke you out. And that was the standard go-to in my family. When they had it with you, that was the warning. That was the warning before the wooden spoon. So if they got to that point, you were like, all right, I got to back it up and be a little better. My mom did the divorce and contested me on having his last name. She just wanted to make me spend money. He wouldn't have cared. Yep. Oh, his mom did the divorce. Yeah. What a bitch. Yeah, he probably wouldn't have cared. My ex-husband didn't care. I mean, at first he was like, oh no, you're keeping my name. All that sweet. And I was like, not sweet about it. I was like, it's practical. I said, why the hell should I have to change all my paperwork because you're an asshole? Like, I don't get it. And he was like, oh, well. And then like right after our divorce, he told his, chickadee, his side chick, that I kept my name, that I kept his name. And she like, I knew what the reaction was going to be. For some reason, he thought she'd be fine with it. I knew she wouldn't. And I got to be in the room when he got the phone call. And he told her, and she was like, what did she get in the divorce? He was like, she didn't get anything. He was like, she got everything because everything belongs to her. He was like, I got my speakers and I got my car. And she was basically like, great. Like, didn't you get her for like alimony? I was like, yeah, good luck, bitch. And he was like, he was like, she got to keep her name or whatever. He was like, wait, she was like, wait, what? She's still Peterson? And he was like, yeah, why? What's the big deal? She was like, when we get married, I'm supposed to be Mrs. Peterson. And she's still Mrs. And he was like, oh, I didn't think of that. And he looked at me and I was like, fuck you. Like the ink is dry. I was like, I am not changing shit to make that hoochie happy. Get out of here. Nope. I was like, yeah, she can see. It's all right. She'll be fine. She's mad. Oh, she can keep being mad. It's okay. I was like, if she wants to, if she tells anybody anything, or she's like, oh, we both have the same last name, be like, yeah, I got it first, and you're just a home wrecking whore. Like, you got it second. You'll always be second to me. Just remember that, bitch. Like, and then they went and got divorced, and she married some Texan who collects like suits of armor. I don't get it. They live in a hovel. They have genuine suits of armor because they like to LARP and go to Renaissance fairs. When you can't afford a nice apartment, why do you spend all your money on suits of armor? You're not a knight. It's not a thing. Apparently she's an elf, like a fairy elf, and he's a knight in shining armor. He looks like every redneck beer commercial you've ever thought of that had like a Joe Dirt kind of theme to it. That's what he looks like. And she just looks like she never ate a morsel of food in her life and that she's going to suck out your soul when you fall asleep. So I don't get it. Like, she looks like a demented vampire fairy thing, but she does look like an elf, the way they truly look. If you ever saw True Blood, the fairies are real pretty until their glamours wear off and then they fugly. She fugly. And I have the pics to prove it. But, yeah, no, she left my ex-husband in her parents' house. She divorced him. Well, she left him, and I don't know if it was a divorce or whatever. They had a hand fasting. I don't know how legal that is. I don't know if they did the court thing or whatever after, but they had a hand fasting because apparently they're all witches, whatever. You can't make this shit up. You really can't. Like, my ex-husband showed up here and he was like, I got a tattoo. I was like, don't you live in Rhode Island? Because that's where he was at the time. I was like, why are you here? He said, "Oh, well, Kelly's busy and I was in the car. And so I just figured I'd drop by." I was like, "How long did it take you to get here?" He was like, "I don't know, 5 hours." And in that 5 hours, it never dawned on you, this is not a good idea. Turn around. And he was like, "No." Okay. He's like, "I wanted to show you my tattoo." I was like, "You have a camera phone. Could have just sent me a picture." And he was like, "No, I wanted to show you." So he has this, he's like making this big deal. I'm thinking he's got like a sleeve or something. He was like, "It was so painful. I don't know how you did all those tattoos on your back." And I was like, "Okay." And he pulls his sleeve up, and it's this little itty bitty scarab beetle. And I said, "Wait, hold up." I said, "You waited till you were like 40 years old to get a tattoo. It really, really hurt, and you're bitching about it now." He was like, "Yeah." I was like, "And you chose a 1.5 inch bug to put on your shoulder. Why would you want a bug on your arm where it's just this big black mass? You're always going to see it out of the corner of your eye. You're always going to think there's a bug on your shoulder." And sure enough, he was like, "I hate you." I was like, "Why?" He was like, "Because it scares me all the time." Because I'm like, "Ah," and then I realized it's the tattoo. I'm like, "I told you." He's like, "Well, it was her idea." I said, "It was your girlfriend's idea to put a bug permanently on your body where anybody could see it, especially if you're naked." Yeah, that wasn't strategic. I was like, "You think I'm a bitch? She's psychotic." I was like, "That's some sneaky shit. That is some sneaky shit. You put a death bug on you." And he was like, "It's a scarab." I said, "Yeah, they're also called dung beetles." I was like, "You realize they live on shit. They eat flesh." He was like, "Don't you remember the Mummy?" "Yeah, I remember the Mummy. Do you do everything the movies tell you to do?" I can't. And he was like, "It's cool." I was like, "Mhm." He was like, "Look, I got like a medallion too." I was like, "You mean a charm?" Because, men wear medallions. You wear charms. You always got to make me feel like I'm not a man. I don't make you feel shit. You present me with the situation and I just call it out as I see it. I can't help it that you're a bitch. Like, hey, Andrea. Hope you're good. I am good. How are you, honey? I have been in a world of pain and this just feels good today. I just got in a good music mood and I came and hung out with you fine people. So, and just laugh. I just tell you just my retarded life. Wolfkinder said, "I wonder if the Wicca Witch thing is mostly in the Northeast." No. Oh my God. When I was in Kansas, that's all right. So there was a metaphysical, that's what they call it, store in town. Mind you, the town only had like 8 stores on like the main drag. So it was like you had like the Five and Dime, the Wicca store, you had like a drug store, you had a jewelry store, and like just made like 8 or 9 stores. That was it. But they had the metaphysical store there, and everything was like priced to sell. So like you didn't go in there, it was not going to break the bank. Here you go to like a metaphysical shop, everything is ridiculously priced. Like incense is like $10 for like, 5 little sticks of incense. Get the fuck out of here. Like, but over there, everything was cheap as could be. And it was great. But I met some really, out there people. And Kansas is where I got to experience my first and only naked dance around a bonfire at night in the woods. So, because I just wanted to know what it was like. And my husband was like, at the time, he was like, "You're not going to go." I was like, "Are you telling me I'm not going?" And he was like, "No, I would never tell you what to do." I was like, "And that's why we have problems." Like, because you're a bitch. But I was like, "You don't mind if I go?" Because we were already like divorced. And he was still living with me, but we were divorced. So I felt no compunction about going out and being naked or whatever. I knew I wasn't going to do anything. I was just going to dance naked under the moonlight. And that's what we did. And it was so funny because I they burned all these things in like these little teeny tiny cauldrons. It was so funny. They're passing around these little metal cauldrons and they're like, you have to like waft the smoke toward you and inhale. So I was all kinds of fucked up. And I had told him come pick me up at a certain time. And he was like, it was like 4 a.m, I think, when he picked me up. And he showed up and I couldn't find my clothes. I don't know where they were. I know I was wearing like a robe at one point, but then that robe went the way of the dodo too, because it was like, oh fuck it, everybody else is naked. It was so much fun. It was very freeing, but it was so weird because I had to like really school my face to not laugh because they're chanting this stuff and they're feeling it. And I just wanted to experience it. I just wanted to know what the hell is the draw in all this because I had studied all different kinds of religions and belief systems and whatever. And I liked reading about them. I liked getting into like, their whole, like the history of them. That's what I do. I absorb information. I just like tons and tons of information. Sometimes with things like that, I wanted to experience it because just reading about it and like hearing people talk about it wasn't enough for me. I was like, I don't get the draw. I just don't get it. Like, I don't get what you guys are feeling. I don't understand like the whole, like you do this all this together and stuff like that. Like, I didn't know anything about covens or whatever. And they included me. They invited me and they were like, we're going to do this. It's perfectly safe. This person, that person, that person, that person. But there'll be outsiders coming. And of course, they were coming from like Washington State because that's where they all come from. And like, we had tons of people there. There had to be like 15 to 20 people. And at first I was very, very shy about it. I was just like, no. They're like, I'm sitting on like this log, just like trying to like drink whatever the fuck they gave me to drink that was in wine. I know it was wine, but there was something in it. And I was young enough, like I was 29? I was young and stupid enough to just drink it and be like, fuck it, what could happen? Like, well, I know what could happen now, but I just didn't care. I was like, whatever, just throw caution to the wind. Be wild. Like, that was my wild time. And I remember sitting there and sipping on this stuff. And like, I was like, they're passing around like, joints like crazy. And I was like, no, I'm good. Cause I kind of wanted to be a little straight. And I was just like, all right. Yeah. Every time they pass, I'm like, no. All right. Just one toke. All right. 2 tokes. All right. So by the time I was like an hour and a half in, I was fucked up. And I went from sitting on that log trying to like with my legs crossed and like everything tucked in. And like I had the cup in front of me with like the full friggin' like ceremonial robe on and shit. I went from that to underwear and like dancing around and whatever to eventually I was just like, fuck the underwear. And like everything went. It was like, whatever. It was a free for all. I didn't touch anybody. Nobody touched me. It was just a lot of dancing and singing. But it was so funny when they would start like chanting and they're praying. And I'm like, take it seriously. Like they take it serious. Don't let them see your face. Don't let them see your face. Because they could get a little iffy if they think you're not taking them seriously. They get very, very offended very quickly. And it was just like, all right. But it was a great experience. I had so much fun. I don't remember all of it because, again, I don't even know what I inhaled from those bowls. But it did have me like cross-eyed because I remembered thinking, oh my God, I see like eyes in the woods. Like I swore there were demons watching us and shit. And it didn't really bother me. I was just like, yeah, no, Brett's coming to pick me up in like a little while. Of course, he was like an hour late, which son of a bitch, but whatever. But yeah, it was so weird. But there were so many of them in Kansas. So freaking many. There's like here, there's not that many. Like you got to go like out to the weeds and shit. But even like most of the people that practice like that kind of stuff around here, they don't tell anybody. They're very insulated. Like they're like, no, we don't tell anybody because then, we're judged and whatever. It's like, yeah, you're afraid somebody's going to come along and like burn your house down, bitch. It's too like, they're like, oh, it's too close to the Salem witch trials. Like that was 400 years ago. What the fuck? It's funny, but it's not a Northeast thing. It's all over. I think it's more prevalent all over anywhere else than it is up here. Central Jersey has quite a few witchy shops, but it's purely commercial. It's like statues that they don't know what to do with, spell books that were written by people who just, I'll just write a spell book and okay, somebody's going to sell it. You know, somebody will buy it and everything. And they do that, but there's no like realness to it, you know? Whereas if you go to, well, see, okay, how do I describe this? Our metaphysical shops, if that's what you're going to call it, are commercial based. They're meant to, you know, appeal to all these teenagers and, you know, like 40 somethings that are like, I have no man, I could do a spell. I need a cauldron and I need incense and I need like, and they go and they spend like $9,000 on bullshit. Then they go home and you're like, you know what? You could have had plastic surgery for that amount of money and you would have had a better shot. Like you're just sitting around burning effigies of exes and I'm going to take all these memories and burn them away. Like, shut up. And believe me, my friend Rachel does that all the time. Oh my God. Perfect person to buy gifts for. Because I just have to do like an online crystal lookup, whatever, on Amazon. I bought her this whole, it was like $10. It was all these crystals hanging down and like this like wind chimey thing that's supposed to, as the sound goes through and they click together, you have good energy. I was like, whatever. I thought it was pretty. She was like, oh my God, this is going to change my life. I was like, they're rocks. Relax. Like, they're fucking rocks. She takes that shit seriously though. She's got like a pentagram hanging from her rear view mirror with like a tiger's eye and like the Imaluk. Imaluk is it's the how to ward off the evil eye in Italian. So it's the horns. So you do the horns with your finger and it's almost like, you know, rocking out. But what you do is supposedly the energy comes in through your pinky and it comes back out your pointer. So that whatever somebody's sending to you, you redirect it right back. This way it doesn't touch you. You're just the conduit. That's the whole thing with the Imaluk. And that's to ward off the evil eye. She had one of those hanging. She had all these like moonstone and crystals. And I was like, and she was like, this is for safety. I was like, it's for safety. How the fuck do you see out of the windshield? I mean, it's a huge amount of charms hanging in the middle of her freaking car. I'm like, no wonder why you can't see anything on the right side of the goddamn car. Because it's like there's this giant mass of charms and chains and everything else. And then when the sun hits it, it's like blinding. And I'm like, dude, like, I can't. She thinks it's for luck. I'm like, you're lucky. I'm like, you're lucky you didn't get into a wreck because of it. But I mean, she's into that whole thing. But here we have the Spanish religious stores. And that's where you go for like the real shit. Hey, Elefant. That's where Santeria goes. Like if they practice Santeria, if they practice voodoo, like these are like the old people's places. And that's where you go. That's where I get my incense. Shit, I'll get like 50 sticks of incense for like $3. And it's good incense too, and it's great. But like you can get holy water there, you can get chicken feet, you can get dried chicken feet, you can get bones there. Any kind of herb you could ever imagine that you might need for anything. But it's all like it's all the older, like more I don't want to say more sinister, but they're definitely more religion connected, serious about their rituals and traditions, and they have secrets. Like these people have, you know, generational like traditions that they only do within their family. You know, so it's like this is a family ritual. This is whatever, and they take it serious. They take it dead serious. So if you want to buy something that's like actually functioning and pay a decent price for it, you go to them. But you also got to be willing to talk to the people who own them because they're going to want to know, what do you need that for? Because let me tell you something. These old people they're like, no, I ain't selling you that. No. You know what you could do with that? No. Pick something else. I'll find something for you. And it's just, but you have like all like the voodoo and Santeria shit on one side, and then all the Christian stuff on the other side of the store. Like in the windows, you only see like the statues, the Virgin Mary statues, the Jesus statues, the paintings of Jesus. They'll have a big like neon lit bleeding heart of Jesus. And it's all Christian. And then you walk in and you're like, this is not a purely Christian store. Like, it's just not. Winning said, yeah, it's the new age pagan grip. So ridiculous. It's hilarious. There's a lot of money to be made with that. Oh, that's because, wait, Wolfkinder, wait, I lost my place. HT said, I've met a few Wiccans in SoCal. Yeah, they're Wiccans are funny. It's funny. I met this chick. She was like 19 and she came into the store when I was there. And they were all like, everybody in there must have knew her. I didn't. They're like, oh my God. Yeah, many blessings, high priestess. I was like, high priestess? And I'm looking at her going, I have shirts older than her. Like, there's no fucking way. And I'm looking at her and she was like, many blessings of the mother to you. I was like, uh-huh. It's like, same to you. Because I didn't want to be disrespectful, but I couldn't take her seriously. Because I'm like, dude, do you even get your period yet? Like, I can't. You're my high priestess? Like, no, stop it. And she was like, yes, we want you to be part of what. I was like, you don't even know who I am. Like, why do you want me to be? Well, because you have an energizing spirit. And she would talk like this. And it just drove me insane because I am so not that person. But I was like, fuck it. You know, like, can't beat them, join them. I was like, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. I had so much fun when I like delved into that. Oh my God. It was so much fun. And let me tell you something, doing like the whole ritual thing of like casting a spell or whatever. I know that it doesn't work like that, like the way they claim it does. But there is something cathartic about it because you do have to put your intentions, but you have to figure out your intentions. You have to figure out how you're feeling. You have to identify the energy, identify the goal, identify what you're willing to, deal with. It really makes you think about the problem. So for me, it wasn't, I cast a spell and everything's going to be fine. Like, because, the universe will have its way. For me, it wasn't that. For me is, I did the spell because I had to go through all these steps and look what I found out. Like, that's the part to me. It wasn't the spell itself that like had any power over me. It was the steps that did something for me. It was almost like, it was therapeutic to go through it. So while, yes, doing the spell had a huge like result for me, it wasn't what one would think of when you say, I cast a spell. They're like, oh, did it work? I'm like, actually, it did. But I don't mean that there was magic involved. I just mean it worked for me. I worked through the problem in a way that I couldn't any other way because I wasn't looking at it that way. And that actually taught me how to break down my issues in the beginning, to go through it step by step by step by step so that I would get to that end result. Because in order to do a spell, I studied how to do that crap, even though I know it doesn't work. The process works. And that was what I got into because it was a different way to look at something and a different way to deal with it and to figure out, well, what do I want? Well, what's really bothering me? What is the core part of what I'm trying to do? And I would, because you have to fine tune it. And by doing that, it helped me. It helped me a lot. And it helped me admit things that maybe I wasn't, ready to admit. To face things that I had already put off before. Wolfkinder, I got into the New Age metaphysical community in the 80s. The witch community came along in the mid 90s. Yep. The New Age stuff was all like crystals. And Nancy and I had tons of crystals. Mm-hmm. I remember I had a crystal on and she came, it was a beautiful like oblong crystal with a metal band in the middle. And it was just so pretty. And it was amethyst, which I loved because I do love amethyst. And I was wearing it and she came over to the house. She came over to the apartment. And she was in a fucked up mood. And I could see just by the set of her eyebrows, like what was coming at me. And I was like, fuck. And she comes up to me and she was like, what is that around your neck? And I was like, oh, here we go. It's banshee time. And she reached out and she just touched it and the whole fucking thing cracked. And I said, see, bitch, you are evil. That started a like 3-day fight. I shit you not. We fought for 3 days and she wouldn't let me sleep. That was the day that she actually she took off my eyebrows when I was asleep. She shaved them off. Not fully. She just shaved half my eyebrows off. And she shaved the hair on my arms. Because, yeah, everybody's got fine hair on their fucking arms. I do too. Most of the hair on my arms is like very fine and mostly blonde. Because when I've never like, I don't know, I just never did the hairy Italian thing. But she shaved my arms. And the only reason I knew that she did it because I sleep like the dead. She didn't put any shaving cream or water or anything. So when I woke up, it was just razor burn from my elbows down. I was so upset. So upset. And then I went in the bathroom and saw what she did to my eyebrows. I wanted to kill her. Because who does that? Psycho people. She was like, shouldn't have fallen asleep. That's why when guys talk to me, they're like, you don't understand how crazy bitches are. Please stop. All right. I dated the ultimate freaking psycho for a whole year. I don't want to hear it. You have no idea the bullshit that woman put me through. No friggin' idea. And if you're like, oh, well, it was worth it. No, it wasn't. It was not worth it. It was not worth it. If I could go back, she's something I would leave out. I didn't have feelings for her or anything, but I mean, I stuck it out for a year because I said I would. But, once she started like screwing the dude that was supposed to be my beard, it was like, I'm not having sex with him. And you are? Really? Bitch. And then, of course, there was the whole thing with her father, which I'm not going to say because I could get sued. But I'll tell you this, it was gross. So, and shocking. Look up Column Seal Megalith Park in Pennsylvania. Oh my goodness. Wait, I got to write that down. That's a lot. That's a lot. Column Seal Megalith. Park in Pennsylvania. I will do that. Yeah, it's the New Age pagan graph. So ridiculous. I know that it's one of those things that aggravates the shit out of winning. I'm purposely holding on to like all my like stuff that I bought in metaphysical store just to be a troll. At some point, I'll be like, here, I made you a care package using good health. Or I'll just fuck with him. It's fun to be like, take pictures of when I move, be like, oh, look at the altar I made. I think that shit would be funny. He would freak out. He'd be like, this bitch. If I didn't say hi, Ellie. Hi, Ellie. I hope you're doing well with the water. That picture you sent, oh my goodness. And that was over a week old, so it's higher now. Hope everything's all right. Everybody's sending me like pictures. They're like, oh my God, look at this flooding. Oh my God, look at this. Oh my God, look at that. I'm like, oh my God, thank God. I'm high up in this building. Nothing bothers me. But I'm glad everything's better. I'm glad you didn't have to make that wet day trip. Winning said, when you peel it back, it's just people who party their lives away. I mean, there's always going to be a couple of those. Elephant. I had a friend who made incense and oils. Ooh, my fave. Maybe old school people will know, but it was called Egyptian. Oh my God, that's so good. Yes, I know exactly. I can smell it now. Yep. I can smell it now. It kind of that what is that? Mag Champa? That kind of smells a little bit like it, but it's not, it doesn't have that sweet muskiness to it. Like it's just it's close, but it's not. I got it to make my apartment smell good. Yeah, I mean, she drank the Kool-Aid. Yep. But no, I know exactly what you're talking about. Wolfkinder, the Pennsylvania Dutch have powwow doctors, a combination of traditional herbal medicine and Christian scripture. They are both respected and feared. I mean, yep, the power of Jesus and the power of chrysanthemum. There you go. Like, sometimes you need actual medicine, but I like herbal medicines. I've become very pro supplement at this point in my life because I don't want to take the poisons that they were giving me. They made me loopy. Winning Reality said my ex thinks she was a powerful witch in a past life. I was like, it's pronounced bitch. Evidently, the more things change, the more they stay the same. But hilarious. I do that all the time with people because they're like, I think I'm psychic. I'm like, oh, you're psycho. It's a different, the ending changes the whole meaning. Like, get it right. Elephant said, no offense to anyone, but I don't believe in that stuff. Minerals are pretty and the way they were made is amazing, but they aren't doing it. No, they're not doing anything, but I love the look of them. I do. Like, I have this this hunk of amethyst that it's like it's stone on one side, like they literally, like it's just a chunk that they took out and it's got like the regular rock as a base and whatever, and it's got all these little amethyst crystals like grown out of it. It's real jagged, real dangerous if you like drop it or like land on it, but it's so pretty. And when I bought it, it was cheap as could be when I bought it. And the lady was like, oh my God, what are you going to use this for? I was like, it's a paperweight. Like, she was like, this is like the center stone of an altar and this should be used for grounding and rituals. And I was like, yeah, that too. I was like, can you just wrap it up for me? Like put it in a box or something? So, because it ain't going to like stay in a bag. It's going to rip right through a bag. Like, just can you put it in like cardboard or something? She's like, but are you going to make it? I will make an entire altar all around it with this as the centerpiece. She's like, oh, okay, good. Bitch, it went on my mantle above the fireplace because when the fire was going and the lights were out, it sparkled so pretty because that's all that matters to me. Ooh, shiny. Like, that's it. That's what I liked. Thank you. She was like, it's grounding. I was like, sure. It's grounding. I was just hoping at some point my husband didn't pick it up and throw it at me because that shit would have hurt. It was big. It was like a foot long and like maybe 8 or 9 inches high, like high and wide. It was huge and it was so heavy, but it was so pretty. It had the amethyst. It had like the purple and the white and like little like, lines of black going through like the bottom of it and everything. And it was a beautiful gray stone that it had come out of. And it was just really, really pretty. And it was like oddly shaped. So it was jagged. There were no smooth edges anywhere. And it just really appealed to me. And I just really liked how it looked. I didn't give a fuck if it had, oh, it's got magical properties. Awesome. Is that extra? Like, because I don't want to buy those. I'm just buying the rock. Like, that's what I want. I want a piece of rock. I don't care what the magical properties are. This lady she spent 15 minutes telling me all the different things I could use it for. And I'm just standing there going, You know, this bitch had my debit card in her hand, right? Because had she handed it back over, I'd been like, gotta go. I was just like, I kept reaching for it. She was like, nope. Like, I'm not done talking. But yeah, they're not doing anything, but they're so pretty. So pretty. I'm not into all the new age stuff. It's purely entertainment and is never right. I'm sure I'll offend. No, who are you going to offend? We were just talking about that. we're talking about like the different things that we've all been through and stuff like that. And I said my ex-husband, I don't even know if he was legally married to the bitch that, he cheated on me with because they had a hand fasting. Who does that? But the whole point of me saying that was because she went and met some dude in Texas and moved there and left him in the basement of her parents' house where he lived without a job for 7 years. He lived in the basement of her parents' house. They fed him. She wasn't even living there. She left because she didn't want to be with him. And she moved to Texas from Rhode Island. He stayed in Rhode Island in the basement for 7 years. And I remember he used to call me and be like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing? Yeah, you find your fucking pride yet? What? Are you working? No, I'm depressed. Take a fucking pill. Like, get off your ass. Get outside. I go outside when I need beer. Oh my God. Like, I'm not an alcoholic. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You spend 24 hours a day drunk. You're an alcoholic. Like, you can't go a day without drinking. You get the DTs. Like, stop. And he called me and be like, it's so lonely here. Good, move. Like, do something. He called me. He was like, you'll never guess where I am. I was like, I'm assuming Rhode Island. He was like, I'm looking at the ocean. I was like, okay. He was like, there's this beautiful cliff. I was like, oh, here we go. As soon as he said it, I was like, oh God. I got comfortable because I was like, he's going to have me on this phone forever. And he was like, everything would be over with just 2 steps. I was like, don't do it. I was like, just move back. I was trying so hard to be like, because I knew he was full of shit. He would never kill himself. So it was just like, just get back in the car. Just get in the car and call your brother and get a job in Minnesota and go back to Minnesota. Like, do something with your life. Like, you're pushing 40. He was pushing 40, then he was pushing 45. And it was like, dude, you gotta come on, snap out of this bullshit. And he was like, I just got to take a couple steps. And I listened to him talk about these couple steps for like a half an hour. And I was like, you know what? I was like, it's better if you run. What? I was like, just run. Close your eyes and just run. And you won't even know when you've cleared it. And he was like, I can't believe you'd say that to me. I was like, well, dude, I'm ready to throw myself off a cliff just listening to you because this is bullshit. I was like, you wasted my whole goddamn morning. And he was like, God, you're such a heartless bitch. I was like, whatever. A month later, he moved back to Minnesota. And he was like, I guess I have you to thank. I was like, you think? And he was like, well, he goes, it just bothered me that you didn't care if I threw myself off the cliff. I said, you weren't going to throw yourself anywhere. I said, you were going to throw yourself down like a freaking shot of, what did I say? A bottle of, I think it was Malibu. I think I told him he was going to throw himself down. I was like, but that's about it. I was like, you ain't throwing yourself off no fucking cliff. I was like, mentally, maybe. I was like, but physically, you're fine. I was like, but he didn't get it. Like, he was like, you just such a cold bitch. I was like, I'm really not. I'm just tired of dealing with bullshit. Like, all you want is sympathy and you're not going to get it from me. You're just not, because I know you. Like, So I don't know if they got divorced or if they had to, or if they were ever really married. I know that she said that she had a miscarriage and they kept it in a jar. They even named it. And he was telling me this, and I'm just like, you realize I'm pregnant right now. Like, I was like, I don't want to hear this. Like, what the fuck? But he was like, yeah, we keep it in a jar. I was like, oh my God, I can't. I don't understand how I got married to that. I don't get it. I must have really been afraid of winding up unmarried the rest of my life, because to take that step with this jackass, I don't understand what I was thinking. That's most of my life. I look back and go, God, what was I thinking? God, and I wasn't thinking, I was feeling. Oh, I'm afraid, or oh, I'm lonely, or oh, whatever. All right, this looks good. Why not? It was always, all right. I never put thought into it. I just kind of went with the flow. It took me 20 years of being by myself because I was like, no, but you're not good at this. Just stop. Just, just stop. Ah. And if you offend somebody, Ellie, so the fuck what? What do you think? Like, I don't go around offending people? Somebody's always going to be offended. You know what? What did the offense do? Did you die? No, then move on. Actually, quartz crystals are used to run our watches. Yes, that is true. That is true. All my good watches used to say quartz on them. I thought it was a company when I was little. I was like, oh, it's made by quartz. They all said that. Science is currently showing quartz can hold information. Oh, cool. Very cool. I don't think it, makes the evil flow out of you or captures the evil in you, but that's what they think. When he said it doesn't offend me, I just know what mind control theater is and how it pulls people down and in some cases ruin lives. Yep. And I know that stones are pretty. Ellie fun. I just thought it was fun to do. Like that was the only reason that I was into it. Because I was curious. I didn't grow up with like any of that stuff. Like the most we did was tarot cards, and that was a family thing. That was purely family. There was some herbal medicine going on. And there were, so like we did like things with spoons and stuff like that. Very superstitious. But I've always had like one foot in that and the other foot in the Catholic Church. So either way, I was screwed. So I had to figure out my own spiritual beliefs. I had to do that all by myself. So to do that, I want to learn about all of them. And I did. I read about, Hinduism. I read about like all these different like Native American things, like all their traditions and skinwalking, dream walking, stuff like that. And I just wanted to know, like, that's why I read, up on like Jewish history and stuff like that, not just the Bible, but like their actual history, like the different like traditions that they had. I wanted to know a little bit about everything. And it wasn't that I was going to change my religion. My religion is just me and God. That's what it is. But I wanted to know how other people viewed it and what they went through. So yeah, I went to different types of masses to see like what the vibe was, what they did, like how I felt about it, how it like sat with me or whatever. And it was like, I loved going to the Baptist churches because of the energy there. You didn't find that in Catholic churches. You had the whole doom and gloom when you went to Catholic churches. But in like the Baptist churches, they were standing up and stomping and singing and they were feeling this. And it was awesome. Did I want to commit myself to that? No, but the experience was great. The same thing with the whole bonfire thing. I loved the experience. Didn't really affect me, but the experience was awesome. I mean, how many people can say they did that? So I like to experience as many things as I can. It doesn't mean it's going to stick. It just, they're like, oh, I can't believe you did. Why? It sounds very much like me. Like, I'll try anything once because I don't want to form an opinion on something if I haven't experienced it. Most things, if I can experience it, I will. And I just won't let it overtake me. These people, like, they jump in, eyes closed, ears plugged, face first, right into all this shit, and they live there. I can't. I'm way too set in my ways for that kind of thing. Like I know who I am, and I know what I believe in. Do I run the gamut of all the emotions and silliness and personalities? Oh, hell yeah. But I mean, I'm a chameleon. I can adjust to anything, which is good. That's why I'm good in a crisis. But I still have like core foundations that I'll never give up. They'll always be at the root of who I am. I just adapt them and build on them. I took college geology. I love rocks. Rocks are awesome. I was that kid that collected rocks. I did. I would have like a whole friggin' thing. Like I'd have all kinds of rocks. I loved finding rocks that had like speckles in them, shiny speckles. like little bits of silver, little like obsidian or something, like just not like fully, just little slivers, like little spots. And I thought those were the prettiest. But I also collected seashells. Love seashells. You know, it's the thing because they're really pretty and they're natural. And why wouldn't I? People go out and spend tons of money on like man-made ones. Why? Nature's so much better at making that shit. There's so much more variety. Well, from shiny, I love shiny. I love shiny stuff. I don't like gold, but I do love shiny stuff. I hate gold, as a matter of fact. Something about me, I don't know. I just, gold makes my teeth go on edge. Like I will grind my teeth. I don't know what it is. I just don't like it. I've never liked it. It was one of the things I hated about my wedding ring. Wolfkind just said, I'm a Reiki master. There you go. Reiki. I always say Reiki. Reiki master. I used to work with cancer patients at the local Catholic hospital. There you go. Lady Awesome Sky. Lady Awesome is also a Reiki master. I know there are a lot of flaky people in this community, but there are quite a few genuine people. Oh, yeah. In every community. Hey, Castro, I'm only 10 minutes behind in chat. Don't get on my nerves. Don't yell at me for being late, but I see you, Castro. Yeah, no, there's genuine people, I believe, in every community, but then you also have the like dippity doos. And unfortunately, that arena has so many wackadoos. So many. And they take it to an extreme. But like, no, the energy, like to be an energy healer and stuff like that, I believe in that stuff. I believe you give off energy, you exchange energy with people. I mean, I do it all the time. But as far as like casting like hexes and spells or whatever, yeah, okay. And it's all psychological. Okay. The first time my ex-husband cheated on me, he was nervous when I found out. Rightfully so, because eventually, bitch, you got to sleep. But I decided not to go the way of violence. And he can thank my friend Peggy that I worked with at the time. She was like, well, don't hurt him, but fuck with him. I was like, how? Because, I was still in my 20s. I wasn't that up on, like the whole wife get even thing. And it's not really me. Like, I'm usually like very upfront when I'm angry or upset about something. And she was like, no, be sneaky. And I was like, all right, what? Like, what am I doing? And she was like, he's afraid of like all that voodoo stuff. I was like, yeah. She said, when he's at work, she was like, go on, the web. And I was like, yeah. Mind you, this is like 2003. So this is how far back this goes. She was like, and look up like how to make one of those little dollies. I said, a dolly? She was like, yeah. She was like, like one of the ones that looks like him. You're sick. I said, a voodoo doll? I was like, you want me to make a voodoo doll? And she was like, yeah. She was like, make it look like him and just put it on your desk for when he comes home so he could see it. And I did, y'all. I made it. First of all, I made it like I went all out. Okay. So it took me a couple days to make it because I didn't have all the materials that I needed. So like I took the hair off his brush and I actually went and I shook out his keyboard and like all his like nail clippings or whatever fell out, which is gross, but helpful to what I was doing. And so like I took all this stuff and I like made this like weird paste and I took a big ass potato and I carved, because I love my clay. So I carved an effigy of him. I put his hair and I tore like a piece of like very, what would I say? Very obvious pattern shirt that was his and only his. And I like tore a little piece off and I like wrapped it around and whatever. And I just, once it was done, I waited. It was like a Friday or a Saturday night. And he was coming home at like 2-3 in the morning because, he was a Domino's delivery boy in his 40s. Well, in his 30s at the time. And he comes home and he's like, hey, what the hell is that? And I was like, what's what? And he was like, what is that on your desk? I was like, it's a doll. Of what? I was like, oh, just some asshole I know. And he was like, That's me. I was like, it's funny. I say asshole. You think it's you. Curious. And he was just like, really, Michelle? I was like, what? It's curiouser and curiouser. And he just couldn't stop looking at it. And I was like, how's your back feeling? Oh my God. Is that why my back hurt? Now, I didn't do shit to this doll, but make it and stand it on the damn desk. And everything I said I did to it, he was like, oh my God, I felt that pain earlier. Da-da-da. And he was like, you better like take that apart, dismantle it, take the mojo off of it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no. I was like, and it's already, like I already did the spell. If you touch it, horrible things will happen to you. Because I had to scare him to like not touch it. And he left it there. And the next day when he woke up, first thing he did was look for the doll. He was like, where is it? I was like, oh, you don't need to worry about that. He was like, where the fuck is the doll? I was like, don't worry about it. I was like, and just ignore that, that bit of dirt outside the front door. I was like, I was, looking for something. He was like, oh my God, you buried it? What did you do? So he was going to like fucking like bury it, like unbury it. He was going to dig it up, unbury it. Yeah, English is fun. He was going to dig it up in the whole friggin' 9 yards. And I was like, oh, you can't touch it. If you touch it, it's going to rebound on you times 3. I'm just making shit up. And he's just like swallowed it. Like he's freaking out. I can't believe you did this to me. God, you're trying to kill me. I was like, whatever. I called Peggy when he went to work. She was like, how'd it go? I said, dude, he's so upset. I was like, he swears he's going to get into a car accident, whatever. And he's going to wind up like underwater in the dirt. Something's going to kill him because I buried the doll. She's like, did you really? I said, no. I said, I took the dog for a walk and he scraped through the mulch and it looks like I buried some, but there's nothing in there. And she was like, the dog dug a hole. Oh yeah. The dog like moved the mulch. And of course I was like, oh, I can use that to my advantage. And I did. But I was just messing with them psychologically. It was so much fun. Ellie, I think you would approve. Because I didn't get violent. I didn't get like nasty or nothing. I didn't call him names like I wanted to, but he didn't sleep well for like a month. And I only told him maybe like 2 years ago that I didn't do anything to that doll. And he was just like, you had me believe. Yeah, I had you believe in a lot of things because you're an idiot. Like, whatever mental torture I put him through, he deserved. The best thing people can do with depression is get up, get moving, and live. Go touch grass. Don't sit in your ex's parents' basement for 7 years. Just let that sink in. All the things you could accomplish in 7 years. And he just sat down there with like no breathing room. Like he said they were pack rats. So it was completely like wall to wall crap piled about 4 to 5 feet high. And I was like, well, you just like blended right in, didn't you? And he was like, there was no room to move. Well, then you should have moved the fuck out. Like, how about that? I don't know. I'd rather live on my own and fail than rely on somebody else and be a burden. But he's not made that way. It makes me mad that Social Security gives people disability for it, which keeps them perpetually depressed and laying around not living. It depends, because there are depressions that they literally make you non-functioning. Like you can't, because it affects you physically. And that's the thing. Like if your mind isn't right, your body will follow. Your body will get to the point where it projects what's wrong with inside your head. They're connected. So, I mean, strong mind, strong body. There's a big difference between being depressed and having major clinical depression. Oh, yeah. I have a clinical social work background. Yeah, but there's different things. Depression causes, Wolfkind just said, depression causes real physical pain and chronic physical pain causes depression, and it's a vicious cycle. It is. Ooh, Suzanne. She gifted 5 memberships. Oh, let's see. We'll do this.
You're the reason that I always win. I'm gonna take a minute to clearly say I love and appreciate you every day.
So who all got that? Wait, So we got Wolf Kinder, Karen O, Daisy Girl Williams, Evelyn Cox, Amber L. Awesome. Thank you so much, Suzanne. Wait. Oh, and then you did another one for Volstorm. Look, Volstorm got one. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you so much. You're so sweet. You didn't have to do that. I appreciate that very much. Again, I believe it's still pinned, right? Because I didn't unpin it. Yeah, if you look at the chat, the thing for 4:00 today at Stark of Iron, the fundraiser for Suzanne, the link is there. So I hope to see you guys there. I'll definitely be dropping in at some point. But thank you for that. I really appreciate that. It was very sweet. And welcome to the new members who are old friends. And you get this one. Let's see. Because I freaking like it.
Welcome to the madhouse, we be running muck. Keep it all real and we don't give a fuck. World gone crazy, we here dancing in the rain. Welcome to Shelly's house, we just a little bit insane. Bring your real self, I ain't asking for more. Except one thing, leave your bullshit at the door.
Leave your bullshit at the door. At the door. I went real country. Thank you so much, Suzanne. That was very sweet of you. I did not expect that. My StreamYards is going nutty. Wait, it's skipping around. I'm not touching it. It's literally scrolling on its own. God damn it. There we go. Okay. Wolfkinder 3. Well, you can't get SSI with just depression. Yeah, no, here you have to have like a whole bunch of other underlying things. But here, they're so quick to be like, oh, here you're autistic. Oh, here you're this. Oh, here that. They take whatever label they have to and just stick it on somebody. And it's like, really? Like, I would rather know what's truly wrong with me than have you just stick a label on me and give me a pill. Because that's what they did. They looked at me and said, you have all these things wrong with you. Here's a bunch of pills. And what did the pills do? They made me crazy. They made me crazy. Yeah, I mean, Ellie's seen it. Wolfkinder's seen it. We've all had our different experiences. I don't think that depression is something that it's just one thing. I think there's levels, but I think it's overused. Like people are like, oh, I have depression, but they can pick themselves up to go partying every night. It's like, okay, like you're too depressed to have a job, but you're not too depressed to go partying. Like that tells me something that you don't want me to know. I can see through that. But there are people that have crippling depression, but it's usually not by itself either, is it? It's usually paired with some type of like post-traumatic stress or like bipolar or borderline or whatever, like something where their mind just isn't working. So usually they have multiple things like keeping them down. And I do think you need time to, go see a therapist. You should have like insurance for that and stuff. That shouldn't be something that breaks the bank. And that's the problem in this country. Like they don't want to give you proper mental health services. They want you to to go to somebody who's actually going to just not give you a pill and actually talk to you and work through it. The insurance don't want to pay for that. So that usually comes out of pocket. So people don't do it. And it's like, come on, like everything's related to pharma. Like they don't want to pay for anything unless it goes back to pharma. Pharma's got a hand in it. I read a post, I think it was yesterday, where somebody was talking about like jibby jabs for kids. How like they get like $40,000 if like the kids under 2 on their roster are, if 100% of them are vaccinated. But like they get double the bonus if it continues to like age 3 or 4 or whatever. And if they include certain shots, it was and if they like miss one, they lose like the whole bonus or whatever. It was very eye-opening and it was very disturbing to me. And I feel like that kind of incentive has permeated all the medical areas. like all the medical fields, mental health, it's, anything like across the board. So, I mean, you really can't you can't trust anything. You have to be very discerning. You have to do your research. But it's really hard to do when all you want to do is just, not be here anymore. I mean, that's a depression that's overwhelming. And usually there's other things involved. There's other factors. And touching grass is not going to help solve that. It might help alleviate it a little bit. I agree. But solve it? No, there's other things that have to be done to get you there. But you do have to get up and search them out. Even if it's on your own, even if you're doing the research like I do here on my own. I could sit in the chair and never speak to another person. Is it going to help me? No. Do I want to do that some days? Absolutely. But I have to push myself, but that's me. That's who I am, because I have little people, they're not so little anymore. They're both bigger than me, but I have people that depend on me. That gives me purpose. I think if you don't have purpose, then it adds to the depression. It adds to that, that apathy and that inability to do anything, even so much as you don't even have the energy to brush your teeth because you just oh my God, everything is just no. Ellie said, I'm lost. I'm active with the local mental health community. I fought to get SSI to get help and to get better. Oh, so did I. I had to fight for it. But I had, I also had the physical stuff to go with it, which meant that I was more depressed because I couldn't get out of my goddamn house. Ellie, I don't get gifts on YouTube. They blocked me from getting them. Aw. Yeah, I don't think Winning doesn't get them either. I think because he's a branded account. So you might have accidentally branded your account, Ellie. You should check that. I don't think you can unbrand it. Right about now, Winning is taking notes. Listen, there's nothing about my crazy Winning doesn't already know about. Okay? Trust me, none of this is a revelation. None of it. None of it. If you were to if he was listening and you were sitting there with him, he'd be like, yeah, it sounds right. Our tracks. Listen, there's crazy and then there's crazy. I didn't do anything to him. I just messed with his head because, well, you cheated on me, so fuck you. But if that's the least, that's the most I'm going to do, then count yourself lucky. I used to say to him all the time, to my ex-husband, he'd say something or if he got handsy or whatever, I'd be sitting there. He's like, no, you're mad at me. I'm like, I'm not mad. You look tired. You should go to sleep. And he'd be like, I'm never sleeping again. Oh no, you'll tire out before I will. You know why? Because I don't drink and you're gonna pass out. Good luck with that. And I'm going to sleep in the van. Go ahead. It's my van. You think I don't have keys? What the fuck? But I'll never do anything. It just the threat in his head, his anticipation of whatever he thought I was gonna do was so much worse than anything I could even think of, let alone carry out. So it was go ahead. You want to torture me physically? I will torture you mentally. Go ahead. And you're going to do it all to yourself. I just got to plant the seed. Go ahead. Yeah, Nimrod. T-Rex, what's up? Hide your hair. Never. I would never cut his hair off. No, I was the one that got shaved. I don't do that. No, I would never cut off his hair unless he asked me to. Shelly, in undergrad art therapy, we learned to make wish dolls. I like those though. We wrote our wishes on a piece of paper, which was balled up and made as the doll's head. The wish dolls were supposed to be used for people to help realize their inner desires and get it out of their heads. Was the coolest project in that class. I still have mine. You know what I had? I had those little worry dolls. You ever see those? It's like a little box or casket, coffin, however you want to look at it. And they have little dollies in them, little 1-inch dolls. And you would take the dolls out and you would put whatever was worrying you into each doll, and then you would put it in the casket and close it and then put it away, so that you took your anxieties and the things you're worried about and you just put them away. So you would have to name them, which meant you were identifying them, and then you would have to store them, away. You chose to say, okay, this is not something I can deal with right now. And this isn't something that's, it's an emergency and I'm worrying about it. Let me just put it here and forget about it for a little while because it doesn't matter. And it was functional to me. And my grandmother was like, oh my God. She was like, that's witchcraft. I was like, no, it's not. I was like, I got it in a gift shop in Florida. Like, it was cute. So I bought it. She's like, those are voodoo dolls and whatever. I was like, no. And I explained the whole thing. And she was like, oh, I do that with stones. And she did. She had like a little jar with pebbles in it. And if she had a problem that she couldn't attack right now because she couldn't do anything about it, she would take it and she would like roll the stone over in her hand while she thought about the problem. And she would say, all right. And she used to say, God, this is for you. Here's another one. And she'd put it in the jar. It never dawned on me that we were doing the same thing, but with different objects. And once I explained that to her, she was like, oh, well, that's a good thing. But why don't you just have a jar? I was like, because I like the dolls. She's that was always my grandmother's reaction. Oh, another one. Wait, did I miss another one? I did. Wait, all right. I'm so okay. So you got Volstorm. Oh, and Starlight. Thank you again, Suzanne. Look at you. Who are you trying to get one for, girl? Stop it. Thank you. It was very sweet though. So that's 7 gifted memberships from Suzanne. That's nice. Let's see. There we go.
Because I'm good enough, I'm smart enough, and doggone it, people like me.
There you go. There you go. All the favorite ones. Thank you so much, Susan. That's very sweet. And congratulations to anybody out there who got new memberships. I don't know who that person is. Starlight 84, but welcome. There are free clinics and sliding scale clinics. You have to ask. I mean, it depends on where you're at. We used to have free clinics here. They did away with those. We also had sliding scale clinics and they did away with those. So either you have Medicaid, you have regular insurance, or you pay full out of pocket. The only place that we really have sliding scale clinics here, it's not called Planned Parenthood. It's called family planning. That's where you have the sliding scale and you have the free stuff. That's the only place. You can't get free dental. You can't get like free urgent care. You can't like, if you need like a stitch, no, you're paying a good like $200-$300 for that damn stitch. Learn how to do that shit yourself. But if you need birth control or you need an abortion, oh, it's all free. Come on. Like, oh, yeah, this is how much you make. We'll charge you $5. $5 for like 3 months worth of birth control. Yeah. Like $5 a month. No, just $5 for the visit and the tests. And they run everything on you. They run the HIV test. They run all the STD tests. They do like the pap smear. They send it out. They'll call you and whatever. They'll do the breast exam. All of it for nothing or for like $5. That's it. That's the only place where you can get free services here anymore. That's how, I mean, you got to think of where I live. Everything is expensive. Everything. I used to be able to go to the doctor of my choice. He wasn't on my insurance. And I used to pay $60 for an office visit. The last time I talked to him, his office visits are about $350. And I was like, it was nice knowing you, doc. And he was like, well, we'll get you on the right insurance, and just tell me what insurance you're on now, and I'll see if I can apply for. I was like, yeah, no, I'm not going through all that. Like, you're a great doctor and I love you, but not that much. Like, like, and I'm certainly not giving you my money. Fuck that. For you to like look down my throat and be like, you're fine, looking good. Like, shut up. Like, he's my innuendo doctor, is what he is. Well, not so much innuendo. You know how you read these articles of these women that get like accosted by their doctors and they're like, oh my God, why did she let that happen? I can honestly tell you, because in the moment, you're just like, you're in disbelief because you can't believe that this person is doing this thing. And it's so weird and out of the ordinary that you legit will convince yourself that it was all in your head. And then you look back on it years later and you're like, fuck, no, that really happened. When I was in labor with my daughter, I was, like I said, I was in that hospital 5 days in labor and nothing was happening. And my doctor, who was a resident, he was like, I think he was chief resident at the time, came in and my mother was standing next to me and he's talking to me about like my options, what they're going to do. Like, they're going to do these cervical inserts and they're going to hang me upside down kind of in the bed and whatever, because gravity needed to work its way the correct direction, which was not upright. And so I had to be inverted and whatever. And he's telling me this. Now I'm sitting up, like all the way up. I'm pregnant. So like, I'm not able to like scoot back or whatever. So my feet were at the end of the bed. And he went up and he's talking to me and my mother with his hands on his hips in scrubs. And all of a sudden I jumped and my mother like looked and I was like, nah, because he rubbed his junk on the bottom of my foot. And I was like, no, I was like, that was an accident. So I moved my foot from the right side of the bed to the left side of the bed. I purposely did, this motherfucker moved. He followed the foot. And he did it again. And I didn't say shit. I was just like, I tried to like pull my legs back. And I'm like really uncomfortable. And he was like, all right, I'll see you in a little while to do your cervical inserts. Because of course, that's what I want you to do right after you did that. And he left. And my mother said, did he just? I was like, I don't want to talk about it. And she was like, but I didn't see things, right? Like he rubbed and then like you moved and he rubbed again. Mm-hmm. Oh, Michelle, I was like, I don't know. All I know is I'm 9.5 months pregnant and I want this baby out of me and I don't care. I don't care if he goes in the corner and jerks off and goes, oh, just say my name. I don't care as long as I have this fucking baby. And that's where I was. I was just like, I don't care. I just want to get through it. I don't want any more stress. My blood pressure, it's going to kill me. It's going to put me in a coma. Like, can we just stop? I couldn't deal with it. But now I look back and I have to laugh about it because otherwise I'm like, it's so violating. But it's just like, I'm not going to look back and be like, oh, I feel trauma now. Like, no, I mean, I felt it then, but I had other shit that was more important. I couldn't like, it wasn't registering as far as like, this is something I'm going to have to like work through later on. I just look back and go, that was fucked up. Like, that was really, I can't believe he did that. And I kept him as a doctor for another like 10 years. I mean, I didn't keep him as my OBGYN, let me tell you. But like, anything where I was not naked and in any way, shape, or form, then he was my doctor. But yeah, no, he was the one I went to for the Viagra prescription for my ex-husband. He's the one that said, I don't know how you wake up next to this woman every day and don't have wood. Like, what is wrong with you? He was like, if that was my wife, I would bang her every day. I was like, great. Thanks, Doc. Appreciate that. He's the one that told my ex-husband, he was like, you kind of look like me, huh? There's some psychology going on there. And my ex-husband didn't get it. And I was just like, oh, dear God. Dear God, no. And he like looked at me. He was like, right? And I was like, yeah, well, I always had a thing for like, Luke Skywalker types. Of course, now Mark Hamill went and ruined that. But, I did. I had a huge like type. I had Bo Duke, Luke Skywalker, friggin' the blonde dude on Chips. Like, Which one? I don't remember if it was Starsky or Hutch, but David Soul. Like that was my type when I was younger. Like, and I don't really think I grew out of it. You know, it's like, okay. I like, confident, guys with swagger and, like good hair and blue eyes, and that's just my thing. And I don't even have to know that about them. That's the type of like personality I tend to be attracted to. And it's just like, because they're not like super serious, but they're not like super silly. They're like a good combination. It's that coolness that I have to read them. I have to work harder to read them that does it for me. Because I don't want it to be super easy. Like, I don't want to look at you and just have you all figured out. I like surprises when it comes to people. I like figuring you out. I like, because it leads to conversation. Keeps things interesting. Yeah, we don't have those. Not every area has free clinics. Not every state has the same rules. Even federal programs don't reach every corner of the country. Yeah. Puffer said, I didn't have those, but I totally tried to sew my Snow White stuff. Oh no. Back on. I stabbed myself a couple times and it shit. Oh no. Probably looked voodoo-ish. My daughter did that with her Sailor Moon dolls. I don't understand why, but she took all the heads off of them. Now these dolls were not like go to Walmart and get a freaking Sailor Moon doll. I had to send to Japan for these fucking dolls because nobody here was watching Sailor Moon yet, and my daughter was totally immersed in it because my ex-husband is an asshole. So I didn't know anything about it. He got her into it, and then it was like, I need Sailor Moon. It's like, great. So I had to friggin' like send to Japan for them. So they cost me a lot of money. And I go in her room and she's got like all these like bodies with no arms and no heads. And I'm like, what did you? I never found half the heads. I don't know what you did with them. I have no idea. And I never asked after that because she was like, oh, the heads needed to come off. I was like, okay. Yeah, no, I installed a better lock on my bedroom door because fuck that. Like, like she's taking heads off. And I kept a very close eye on her after that. But even like the shrink, she was like, they all go through that. She was like, they just want to know like what like makes them different. And like, I said, no, you don't get it. She ripped off the arms and the heads and I can't find the heads. Like I found a couple, but there's like 20 dolls and like 2 heads like that. What did she do with them? And it freaked me out. And my ex-husband at the time, he was like, you worry about nothing. I'm like, all right, when you wake up with no head, you let me know how that goes. It's like, when you wake up with no head, because that's the way I talk. I'm like, oh my God, if you die, I'll kill you. Like, that's just how my son thinks it's funny. Thank you said about the universities that have a dental school to dental work. Yeah, they don't do that here. Over here, it's all liability and cost. All liability and cost. Like I had suggested to Darth when he was having the tooth problem to see if he could find like a dental school that would help him out because he didn't have health insurance that covered it. And I think that's what he did. But like here, no, there's too many freaking people in too urban of an area. And the median income is way too high. So they don't even qualify for it. We have one dental place in like Hoboken / Jersey City where everybody that has Medicaid goes. I can't go there because I'm not waiting 9 hours just to miss my whole appointment and them say, we'll see you when we see you because you're a piece of shit Medicaid, person. They don't give a fuck. So I go like 3 towns away. But I mean, I have to travel. And even then, I always, if somebody comes in with better insurance or cash, they get in before me and they get better service than me. And I know it. And the dentist will tell you, he's like, I could do this, this, and this, but your insurance will never cover it. So, I mean, we'll just pull this or we'll just cap this or whatever. And it's like, great, thanks. Like, you don't know that I don't have like money to do this. Do you? No, but I mean, you're being very like presumptuous. Oh my God, English and Maine, not friends. Lots of the free ain't free anymore. It's true. It really is. It really is. Suzanne, don't get me started. Harlem's mother yeeted 3 before him, 2 after. Aw. Thank you for the super chat, though. Look at that with the Canadian dollars. What do they call Canadian dollars? I found in my little coin thing that I've had since I was little, because I've always collected like, different coins, like silver dollars and stuff like that. I have so much Canadian money, so much Canadian coins. And it's so funny because like I have like from the islands, I have from Canada, and it says Canada right on the back of it, but they all have Queen Elizabeth on them, like Queenie too. And I was just like, oh my goodness, I have so much Canadian money. It was funny because I was looking at them when I was talking to Winnie. I was like, oh, I was thinking of you, Suzanne. I was like, I have Canadian money. I was very excited. I don't know why I was so excited, but I was. I lost my place. Okay, so we got that. You get a song. Let's see what song we'll do. Let's do the Valentine one. Awesome sauce. All righty, where were we? Oh shit. Okay. Thank you, Suzanne. And remember, the link is at the top of the chat. It's also in my scroll bar. We got Ellie Fawn dropping $20. Look at you, girl. This is me blowing sunshine up all your asses. They're still good in the rough. Thank you, honey. I appreciate that. You can blow sunshine up our butts for free. It's okay. That's what friends do. But let's see. I'm going to give you some advice.
Don't go to Jersey. Whatever somebody going to ask you to go to Jersey. Visit them in Jersey. A long lost friend, don't go to Jersey. Don't go to Jersey. You're going to get hit by a bus. Okay? Don't do that. Okay. Don't do that. Good.
I love that one. I don't know why that one makes me happy. So does this one, though.
Said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire. Said, oh Lord Jesus, it's a fire.
And then you have this one. You gotta love that one. Thank you very much, Ellie and Suzanne. You guys are so sweet. Thank you. I appreciate that very much. You're funny. Blowing sunshine up here. She's like, yeah, I'm talking about religion and everything. I'm gonna blow sunshine up your ass. See, that's what I love about you. You switch back and forth. Nothing predictable. I love it. Wolfkinder. There was an episode of Roseanne where the girls found shoe boxes under DJ's bed. Oh my God, I remember that. All their dolls were pulled apart and parts were separated. That was freaking hilarious. But that kid was spooky. I mean, DJ was spooky. He was a creepy kind of kid. Like, I always thought he was going to grow up to be a serial killer, but apparently he didn't. But yeah, that one was funny, but it did freak me out a little bit when I watched it. I was like, yeah, he's a sociopath. Like, but I mean, they were dolls. At least they didn't find like decapitated mice and shit like that, because that's worrying. Over here, the dental schools only charge you $500 less of dental implants. Yeah, and you wait and you never mind. What happened? What happened? The pessimism is high in here today. No, not pessimistic. Wallets get that way. My wallet gets very light every time I need something. It sucks because I'll pay any amount to get my kids like whatever they need. But then with me, I'm like, meh, it can wait. It can wait. Oh, we got another one. Never played that again. You sent me a super chat telling me never play that again. Which one? Which one don't I play? Because I played a whole bunch. I need Jesus. I mean, me and Jesus are tight. Jesus is my co-pilot. Damn it. And the Virgin Mary is the backseat driver. Actually, that would probably be the Archangel Michael, because I feel like he's always sitting behind me going, no, no, no. Do you not see what's coming? Do you not see what's coming? Ellie Fudd, I need Jesus to mow my yard. It's looking like a jungle. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's the one thing I have to adjust when I move. I'm gonna have to adjust actually having to take care of things again. It used to be a thing I did without thinking about it. Like on Sundays, like every other Sunday, you mow the lawn. It wasn't a big deal. Like now I'm like the housing company does everything outside, so I don't have to do nothing. Puffer said, Mary totally lied. Funny, thought of every day. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Could you imagine? No. She said, me too. Everybody needs Jesus. Grandfather had St. Christopher on the dashboard. Oh, yeah. Which one did he have, though? Did he have the metal one, or did he have that tan plastic one that, like, weighed next to nothing? Because we all started with the metal one, and that became a very bad projectile weapon. So then you got the plastic one that you put a little mounting tape under it and you stuck it to the dashboard. You had to make sure there was no dust on the dashboard, or it would come right off. Right? And it only, like, the mounting tape only lasted for a certain amount of time in the sun. Like, you knew, like, a week or two after, it would, like, all dry up and just come off. Yeah, we had the metal one, Suzanne, but I swear to God, like, my mother stepped on the brake and that shit went like a freaking dart all the way to the back seat. I was like, that's dangerous. She was like, yeah, we'll get it different. I mean, we had all sorts of like projectile weapons. Who played with lawn darts? No, St. Christopher was never facing out. It was always facing the driver's side, like the front seat. It was facing the occupants of the car. And I was like, that always bothered me, because I was like, shouldn't he be like, looking out for the road? Like, no, apparently he has to keep an eye on you. It was like, all right. They had one with a visor clip. No, you had the visor clip. I mean, in our visor, you never put the visor down in any of our cars except mine, because I had a whole, like, there's a whole system that kept everything where it was supposed to be. Like, there was my insurance, my registration, whatever, like, important papers I had to have. Everything had a sleeve, and it was this really nice, like, wrap around kind of thing. So you could pull the visor down and look in the mirror or whatever, and nothing fell. But in my mother's car, I don't know how much paperwork she kept in that visor, but it was like easily like 3 inches of papers and envelopes and shopping lists all shoved in there. And there was nothing but, God's good graces keeping it up there, because there's no way the spring in that damn visor was strong enough to keep it up and hold all that stuff up. There's no freaking way. And if you had the misfortune of going in there and just not looking and pulling down the visor to block the sun, which you never did, you just held up your hand, everything fell in your lap. Everything. It was like, ugh. How does the Catholic Church not view saints as blasphemy because you're idolizing and it goes against the no other gods before me? I've said that, but that's the holdover from paganism. That's the holdover from polytheism. They're like, okay, all these people are used to dealing with all these gods that are, you're talking about Greek theology. You're talking about the Romans, the Egyptians, everything. Like, they all had a god for everything. There was like, the god of like tofu and shit. So instead of having that, we have saints. It was to keep people coming, back into Christianity out of paganism, so they didn't feel completely lost. It wasn't a complete culture shock for them. So there were tenets that were brought over that. I love when people argue with me. They're like, no. Yes. Like, you want to know why this exists? It's correlated back to this. They're trying to like transition. The thing is, once you put something into a religion, you got to leave it there. You know, you can't have a communion of saints and then say, oh, by the way, you know, that's against the commandments. So we're going to take that out now. People will freak out. Now you're messing with their whole like thing. It's a whole weird thing. But yeah, that's a holdover from polytheism. Not so much paganism. That our religious traditions are holdovers from paganism. But the saints, that's a polytheistic holdover. It got grandfathered in when they did the Nicene Creed. That was the whole point of the meeting in Nicaea, to figure out like what was going to be put in the Bible, what they were going to say was canon, and what would be held true here. Because of course, one of the things they said was, anything you hold true on earth, I will hold true in heaven. That's what they said God had told Jesus to say, and that's what the book of Matthew says. And so, yeah, it's okay. If you guys believe it here, then I'll honor it up here. So they brought this into it to create this religion of Christianity that appealed to more people. You know, it was, I would love to say, okay, maybe they did it to be kind and not have that culture shock, to not have that psychological trauma of, here, just forget everything you ever believed and believe this and fuck whatever you thought before. Like, I would love to say they were doing it to be sympathetic or to be compassionate. They weren't. They were doing it because it was the clickbait of the day. You know, it was the, oh, look, I'm changing my channel, but there's some things here that appeal to everybody because, you know, this is what my old channel was about. So I brought it over, you know, because this is what brings the people in. I want them to experience this new thing, but I want to bring them over. So how do I do that? I got to, you know, show them I'm still the same. It's not that big a difference. I'm just adding some stuff, which is a little rearranging. And that's what they did. They did it for, you know, the patronage. They did it for, you know, to have an audience, to bring people over, to indoctrinate them into this new belief system that they were building. It was a whole thing. Raises pawn for lawn dart. I loved lawn darts. I freaking loved lawn darts. It doesn't matter that we could have like put what's actually like a javelin through somebody's head. We weren't stupid. You knew how to play. The only time you're going to hit somebody with a lawn dart is if you want to lose the game. We were focused, okay? That little plastic circle that you threw on the grass, you knew where it was and you learned how to aim. And you know what? If you got hit with it, meant you weren't paying attention and you need better reflexes. Okay? So work on your like response time. It was a learning experience. These kids, that's why they get hit with shit, because they never had a lawn dart thrown at them. They never had to get out of the way of a fatally fast moving spear. God, we really did. And it had, you ever have those ones that the plastic, the little wingy thing at the top for the aerodynamic, whatever, it would like get caught, like, cause you know, it moved up and down. So it would like get stuck and then you're just like, oh man, and it would catch your finger. I hated that. Oh, how I hated that. Who was the baby in the basket hung on the roof? Oh, baby in a basket hung on the roof. No one is that old here, are they? Baby in the basket hung on the roof. I don't know what that is. You're going to have to explain that one, Puffer. Only the god of tofu would go to hell and die. I know I hate tofu, but I was just saying, like, they had a god for everything. Jesus said, through me, you get to my Father, full stop. Yeah, but he also said, my Father said, what you hold true on earth, I will hold true in heaven. That's like really, there's so much that they did with that one verse. They use that to just go hog wild, and it sucks. My church doesn't go along with the Nicene Creed. No, but that's most like Christianity, like Catholicism. mostly Catholicism, I think. You gotta understand, I can give you like the knowledge base of where I come from. And I'm rooted in Catholicism, unfortunately. The nomadic Jews were polytheistic. That's why the commandment doesn't say I'm the only God. I mean, that was the whole thing, right? Like they said Moses took too long up on Mount Sinai getting the commandments. And so they melted down all their gold and built golden calves and stuff like that. So yeah, and then God like punished them, or God was mad or whatever. And Moses came down screaming at them, like, how dare you? The catching, sir. That I can't talk. Give me a sec. All right. The Catholic Church said, pray the rosary, Mary will intercede for you with her son. Oh, yeah. That's one thing. The Catholic Church is really good at giving you middlemen. That's what they use the saints for. They're like, Jesus and God are busy, pray to the saints. Pray to Mary and she'll take it. If she deems you worthy, she will take it to her son. And it's like, really? Like, I cut out the middleman. I basically, the only saint I really talk to besides like Saint Anne is Saint Anthony. And that's only when I lose shit. And it works every time. Every time. I don't care. Everybody's like, oh, it's coincidence. What? Nope. Because I've done it for other people. The Vatican added the other crap. Yeah. But the Vatican, I mean, it used to be even more corrupt than it is now. They were just outwardly corrupt. They didn't care. They had popes that were married. They were married several times to several women, sometimes at the same time. Bigamy was a thing. You know, they didn't care. They had kids out of wedlock. What'd they do with the kids? All right, like, just send them here and we'll raise them. If it's a boy, send them to me. Like, just send them to me. It's in the book of Matthew, honey. I'm not going to go looking for it. I came across it the other day. Where's Darth? He would know. But yeah, look in the book of Matthew, and it's Jesus was he was preaching like to the people, and it was one of his like, I'm horrible. I call them his fireside chats. But it's like when he was just sitting around with a bunch of people and just telling them stories and parables and stuff. And he went through this whole thing. I think, was it the Beatitudes? It's around the time that it was, I think, in the Sermon of the Mount, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken because I've been reading so much and like listening to so much religious text that it's easy for me to get confused. But look in the Sermon of the Mount. I think it might be there. Or it's like, it's in the book of Matthew, like right before that happens. God is never too busy for his children. I believe that too. Oh my God, YouTube is an asshole. I typed in G blank D and it disappeared. Oh, stop. Yeah, no, YouTube is. I've been going up and down, like I said, with the same sub for days. Just up one, down one, several times a day. It does it. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm just not looking at the numbers anymore. Fuck them. They like taking views from me. They like, they're like, oh, you had 95 people, 95 views when you ended. And then the next day they're like, you're down to 80 views. How do I lose views? People unsaw my stream? Like, how? How does that work? So it's like, whatever. Anyway, it is 1:30. Let's see who is streaming because I need to potty and I need to eat. My stomach is going to turn itself inside out in a minute. So it's that time. And I've been going almost 4 hours. We're good. I had a good day today. I hope you guys had a good day. You did make my day because I really was not feeling it. The pain is epic the last 48 hours. There's no live or upcoming content from your subscriptions. Bullshit. I call bullshit. Bullshit, mama. Bullshit. Look, Gutters Pub. I can't. Why does it say that? All right, Coffee Club with Gutters Pub. That rhymes. Coffee Club with Gigi. There we go. I'm going to send you guys to her because she's always got interesting stuff going on. And well, she's just a good friend. And I need you guys to go and just go over there and leave her a like or whatever if you can. And hang out because she's cool. Years of Catholic school and Catholic youth groups, catechism, no thanks. I didn't have to do catechism because I went to Catholic school from kindergarten through the middle of my junior year of high school. So religion class was daily. And when I tell you they didn't teach you about any other religions, they really didn't, except that every other religion was bad. Hold on. Oh my God, my kids are going to argue now because my daughter is a pain in the ass. Vices was doing a second anniversary. Yeah, no, Gutters Pub is always here. So Vices has his following. He's good. He doesn't need the help. But I like to give it to the smaller channels like mine. I'm going to have to get going on my day. The kids are waiting. Have a good one. Remember 4:00. Dark of Iron is the fundraiser for Suzanne to help her out to get her pipes worked on. I could say that so many different ways and it's always going to come out dirty. I'm just saying. So anyway, you guys have a wonderful weekend. Have a happy Mother's Day to all the mamas out there. Thank you for doing the job and for, just being you. You guys, you're awesome. I really do. I love my chat. Chat is good. Chat is wise. Chat knows all. So you have a good one. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Mother's Day. And I will see you in the Funny Papers. Bye.
Jersey girl, I know that you're a Jersey girl inside. 4 a.m. at a diner, stop singing, living on a
And doggone it, people like me.
I'm thinking maybe you're a Jersey girl with all those highlights in your hair. No other girl can move like you. We pump our fists, damn right, it's true. And I don't care what they might say, they'll never get us anyway. So be my Jersey girl, and take a little ride with me tonight. And let's get dirty, girl. I know that you're a Jersey girl inside. The way you turn it up, turn me on, and then you take it off. Make it hot, make it loud. We'll wake the whole town. Jersey girl, I know that you're a Jersey girl inside.
Yeah, listen up. Let me tell you about a girl from Jersey. She was looking so fine with her hips so curvy. I wanna over down and see side heights and a boardwalk fight at the end of the night. Hey, hold up, got a situation, got a condensation from the girl's gyration. She's hot like the girl next door with a tig gold bitties that I can't ignore.
Who the fuck starts a conversation like that? I just sat down.